We are live here. We are about to take the TagUI beginners course. Ken Soh should have joined us, and he will be joining us a little bit later in the session. He got caught up with some very important thing. So we will get started with this beginners course. I will help you in the chat as good as I can, and we will help each other. This session is for motivating each other and making sure that we get this TagUI beginners course. With that said, let's get started, and please post in the chat where you're from, and then we can know each other a little bit better. I wrote that I'm from Corretto, which is a little city outside Copenhagen in Denmark. And welcome to everyone. It seems that we just can start here. I hope that you want to do these things with me. I share my screen and then I comment as I go on. And I have my Teams chat open here in case Ken joins. Otherwise, we will just be getting started. So the first thing that we will do is to go to this link, which is Learn TagUI with AI Singapore Beginners Course. The link is both in the chat and it is also in the description. Now Ken joins a little bit later. I hope he's okay. So we will hear him. Hello, Ken.
Hello, Anders. Good morning. Is invite for Teams at 9 a.m.?
No, I don't think so. But no worries, Ken. We have you here. We are very happy that you wanted to join, and I will get Ken in here. Ken is now on the screen, but I will make sure that maybe we can make the video a little bit better. And Ken, can you tell us a bit about TagUI, why I fixed this? I'll be dragging you in here.
Sure. Can you tell me how long have the call been started?
2 minutes, maybe five minutes.
Okay, sure. Okay, so hello guys. Thanks for taking time to take this beginner course. So TagUI is an open source RPA tool that's created at AI Singapore. AI Singapore is a Singapore government-funded organization to accelerate AI and hopefully to increase AI talents in Singapore and increase the usage of tools in AI. And as part of this initiative, there's a small team that involves in RPA, as you guys already know, robotic process automation. So we created this tool called TagUI, and it's designed from the ground up for RPA. It's fully free, it's fully open source. There's no paid services, there's no paid products or anything like that. So feel free to go ahead and build RPA on top of it. And you have many options to use it, many flavors to choose from. You can do it within Microsoft Word to create your RPA in human languages like English, Chinese, German, Japanese, Hindi, in your usual typical local language, you can do that. But if you love Python, you love C#, you can also write RPA in C# and Python code. So very flexible. You want to use VS Code, there's also a language extension as well. And this beginner course is designed primarily for users who are using the human language version, whether it's from your VS Code, your Notepad++, Sublime editor, or from the Microsoft Word plugin. But if you are a Python lover, go ahead and use the Python version of TagUI. Everything will be the same. The API is the same, except that you are writing code in Python instead of in English language. You know, your Python function for click instead of typing click. So you can use any of the options for TagUI for this course. And Anders will be doing this live studying session together with you guys. I'll be here. My teammate Ruth, who created this course, she'll be here with us shortly in an hour's time. Now there's a weekly Zoom Q&A for TagUI users, so she'll be at a call to answer any query for TagUI users. But right after the call, she'll jump onto this call with us to support any doubts or any questions. Yeah.
Oh, was it mistakes can happen? And I can see Andreas in the chat. He says that it's supposed to start in half an hour. Did I make a mistake here? Oh, I can see it. The event is actually going to start in half an hour.
Half an hour, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I made a mistake, but I think that the event with you was at 9 o'clock, so that's why. But so we will wait. We will use this as introduction. Thanks for pointing that out, Andreas, and nice to have you here. So we will not be starting the course. We will be chatting a bit about TagUI, and then we will start in 25 minutes. Is that okay with you, Ken?
Yeah, of course, sure.
To have everyone with us, I'll write in the chat. We start the course.
So you mean because I'm not at the YouTube page, you mean there are already some people early and already here?
Yeah, because I started the stream because I was sure it was at 9 o'clock my time at least. But then it's nice we have you here and you can tell some TagUI stories. We can engage with you, and then we can start the course in 25 minutes.
Sure.
And actually, I can share if I find our other session from the other day. Ken and I we did a live build together, or actually Ken did the most things, but. Ken, that session was quite popular. We so far 700 has seen it, and it was an amazing session. If you haven't seen that, you can also go back and join the demo Ken did there. And Ken, we touched a little bit upon it, but how come that you got this idea that the world needed another RPA tool?
Oh, sure. So that began when I created it in 2016. So if you rewind time back to 2016, UiPath was just starting to be introduced to the market, and Blue Prism was the old king of RPA. And I took a sabbatical in 2016, where I was working at the DBS Bank, the largest bank in Singapore, for a couple of years. Then I got exposed to this concept of test automation, where we can actually get the computers to do things for us based on rules and logic, and then test websites, test application to make sure things are working properly. So after I got the experience, I find that maybe it's better to try to do that on production systems. That's where I went on sabbatical, and I saw that there's a rise of RPA, and I saw that it's so hard to get my hands on Blue Prism, to try out Blue Prism. So I thought maybe I can try to write some software that can do some of those commercial RPA's software functionality. And there I go. And I chose to do it in an open source way because I was just a solo developer. I don't have a VC funding me. And by having an open source model, I can get feedback very fast from different users. I can get the software distributed very fast. And as you already know, the rate of iteration of a software depends on how fast you can get user feedback. And the faster you can iterate and improve a software, even you have a starting point that's bad, you can very quickly become a very good product. So I value that a lot. And over the next couple of years, 2016, 2017, the tool was improved to a very large extent, to the point where from 2018, I joined AI Singapore to continue working on the tool to further improve it. And fast forward a few years later, through many small steps and many small changes and improvements, TagUI became the way it is today. It's one of the most popular RPA tools in terms of the user base, and that's largely because it's a tool that's designed to cater more for mainstream users. Whether you're a developer, whether you're a business user, there's a flavor of TagUI that's designed for you. Yeah. So every month we have at least 1,000 new users for the human language version. We have another 1,000 users using the Python version, and some few hundred users for the other version. So the community is growing fast, and I hope that this growth can also spill over to other open source tools like OpenRPA. It's created by a guy in Denmark called Alan Zimmerman. I've seen the OpenRPA before, and 2 months back it became a stable release version where, in a development world, when we call something a stable release, it means that it has sort of reached the end of the product development roadmap, where you basically implement all that you want to implement, and future releases are more to fight bug fixes or make minor changes. So it has reached that. So I'm very excited about that the milestone. That's why the last couple of months I've been trying to also raise awareness of this very easy to use RPA tool. It's free and it's open source, and it looks a lot like UiPath. So you're familiar with UiPath, give it a try. I think you'll enjoy using it. So anyway, it's a different flavor from TagUI. So you can try out both tools and see which one you prefer. Yeah, but definitely give Open RPA a try as well.
Cool. And this is the TagUI beginners course. We'll be taking it live together in 20 minutes. And this is Ken Soh. He's actually the founder and the architect behind this masterpiece. And we're so lucky that he will be helping us. So we'll be taking this course together in 20 minutes. All the questions you may have, post them in the chat. Ken will help us. I will be posting some of mine live. I'll share my screen with Ken so he can see all the mistakes I'm doing, and hopefully he can fix some of them if they are worse. And Ken, will I have I'm about to start here in 20 minutes, and will I have a difficult time completing this course, you think?
I think for your background, I think it's too easy for you.
Yeah.
But I hope you can go slower for the benefit of us. I mean, some of the folks here may be totally new to RPA, so
Yeah.
they might not be able to keep up to your speed. So you go a little bit slower and share with them your thoughts on certain steps. I'm sure they can follow along better.
Cool. And just to mention that when we complete this course, we get a badge called TagUI Beginners, and so hopefully, or not hopefully, I'll make sure that we leave no one behind. Everyone will be able to complete the session if you just go with us. We take it step by step, and in case that we have any problems with these things, we ask Ken. Or we ask each other, because there will be this live chat that you have here to the right. We can help each other and network. So in case that you want to network with other TagUI developers, feel free to also do that. I know the community is very strong at the TagUI. I think that I heard a rumor that you guys belonged at Slack. Is that right, Ken?
Oh, you mean the communication tool we use with our users?
Yeah, is that Telegram or Slack?
Oh, Telegram. Slack, there's actually a caveat for using Slack, because beyond 10,000 messages, you will lose the history. So we didn't go for that. We went for Telegram.
Cool. And Ken, tell me about it while we but while we are talking here. Is Telegram huge in Asia? Because here in Europe, at least in Denmark, it's almost non-existing. A lot of my viewers, they asked me if I could make a Telegram. So can you share a little bit info about that?
Sure. Telegram got to be more popular in the past couple of years, where there's repeated concerns about privacy issues with WhatsApp. Of course, the so-called the Facebook gives a statement to say that now there's end-to-end encrypted, but I think the public trust on the Facebook company is over time it decreased. It's definitely not as high as when it was initially launched, and definitely not as high when WhatsApp was an independent company before it was acquired into Facebook. So there's still a level of caution for Asian peoples to use WhatsApp. But however, it is still the number one messaging app in Asia and in Singapore, due to the huge user base, and that's probably not going to change unless Facebook or WhatsApp do something stupid. Yeah.
Cool. And Ken, if you can do me a favor and send the address for your Telegram group in the chat, I'll make sure that the viewers can get that. They shouldn't join now. They should focus on this session, but I'll make sure that they get the link so they can join your community.
Sure.
I'll post it. And I'll also post a link to my Discord, where we actually also have a TagUI channel. So I think you should join both of them if you want to network and get help with TagUI and RPA in general. Ken sent it to me here. I'll be posting in the chat now. And I'll be turning a bit around, as you can see here. So it's not to be rude, it's just to have the production. I have it over here. I need another screen here, but for now, this is the setup. And so I'll be turning a bit around. It's not that I'm not interested in what Ken is saying. It's just that, I need to fix things here. So now I'll post the links. And while I do that, Ken, can you tell me about who developed this course and how long did it take? Is it difficult to create a course? Because I actually thought about making these kind of courses. So what does it take, and who did it?
Ruth, my colleague, developed the course on her own. I gave her some suggestions, some ideas to begin with, but she did it on her own. And how difficult was it? It took a lot more time than we initially imagined. It's easy to get an initial version out. You prepare a script, you prepare a PowerPoint, and you do your recording. The hard part is actually launching it and getting user feedback, and then iterating and improving it. That took a bit of time to get right. So maybe if you want to do something like that, I guess a good estimate would be, maybe you can estimate double the time you need to do such a course. That will at least give you some buffer for all this improvement and iteration later on.
Cool. And the plan today is to take this beginner's course here with Ken as the teacher, and not the teacher, but he will be answering any question that we might have. I'll be taking this course. I'll be sharing my screen with Ken so he can see what I do, and you can take it with me. So after this session, when this session is done in a little over 3 hours, or maybe 4 if you are fast, then you get a nice TagUI certificate with the beginner's badge on. And we'll be learning a nice new tool that you can use in your automation journey, or maybe your company needs a new automation tool. TagUI might be the solution for you. So, and that's the plan. And I can tell you, Ken, I haven't touched TagUI at all. I've only seen your nice videos, which I enjoy. Thank you for those. And so I'll be creating what I will do here is that I'll be creating a new account on AI Singapore. I'll do everything from the beginning so the viewer can see how easy it is, or maybe not easy, we will see. And and you can just comment in, Ken, and maybe you can keep an eye on the chat. So if you see any question there, you can just interrupt me and answer them live. Just say, Anders, we have a question, and then you can answer it if you keep an eye there.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Thank you. And Coding Soh, Zoe, sorry if I mispronounce it. I actually know that Coding Zoe, she got her own YouTube channel. Zoe is a nurse that transitioned from nursery to coding, and she loves Python. So I actually think this tool might be for her if she's not already in it. And she writes in the chat that she's super excited for this. Okay, yeah, she's writing, I've been playing with TagUI a bit and very excited to learn more. That's really nice. And I love these stories about that you can get into coding and you can teach yourself everything on the internet nowadays. Everything is there for the taking like this TagUI beginner's course. And if you don't want to learn other programming languages, Python or something, it's also there for free.
Yeah, I would like to add that we live in an amazing time where we have all this abundance of resources by different content creators, teachers, and tools that it's really whether somebody is willing to sit down and spend the time to pick up something new. It's no longer where you need access to a lot of cash to use an expensive tool or pay for an expensive course to learn something new and learn a new skill. So be sure to make use of all these free resources that's available. And I'm sure the content creators and the different developers of these resources and tools would also enjoy doing all this work.
Yeah, and let me share a story. When I was a kid, I'm 42 years old, and when I was a kid, we barely had internet. In fact, it was only because my dad, he's a database administrator, so we had internet way before every one of my friends got it, but still it was so slow and you couldn't really use it. There was no information out there because no one else was on the internet, and compare that to my son. He's a little over 1 year old, and he will be growing up and he can have everything on the internet. And Ken, you look a bit younger than me. How old are you?
I'm I've aged a lot. I just crossed 40, coming to 41.
Oh,
Yeah.
you look good. Um,
Uh,
and uh, and
I
uh,
saw a question on the yeah, but please go ahead first.
yeah, go and so Andreas, hey Andreas, I know Andreas. He has Andreas is a real life friend of mine, and he has been punching me a lot, saying that this RPA I can't use it, and he can't use it because he's a Mac fan. For some weird reason, he chose to use Mac, and then I talked with you, Ken, and I saw now there's an opportunity for you to join the RPA wave, and because TagUI works on Mac. And can you address his question maybe?
Yes, yes. First, I like to say that people who choose to use Mac has a fine taste in life. Yeah, okay, just kidding. It used to be. It used to be a few years back that developers who chose Mac more techy, but I'm seeing a trend where hardcore developers choose Windows instead. So I think maybe I would say Apple might have done something not as well in the last few years. So that's my best guess. Yeah. Okay. In any case, I'm still a Mac lover. Uh, uh, okay, I'll go straight to the question. So Andreas was asking, what's the inspiration for TagUI syntax? So after he looked at it, he cannot relate it to anything he knows, and he feels that it's very succinct, right? For example, visiting URL is just you type the URL, and why is this very short syntax? Okay, so um, when I first worked on TagUI project, my goal was how can I let the user create the automation in the shortest time possible. So it reminds me of the days where I go back to my DBS bank to work, and we have all those test cases in the test management system. And each test case, each test scenario, you have the list of steps to describe what you want to do. And usually it's pretty verbose to say click where and so on. So I'll try to think, okay, can we try to distill down RPA scenario to its fundamental essence, right? If we think about that, the fundamental essence would be the most minimum that you need for an RPA workflow would be to convey in the shortest way possible what you want the computer to do. Like you want the computer to click somewhere, type somewhere with what value, go to a web page with this URL and so on. So with that in mind, I try to design the syntax such that it is as close to human language as possible. In fact, you look at all the TagUI steps, it reads like a human language and English with grammar and the to, as, all these additional keywords. So with that in mind, I also designed such that there isn't a additional effort to spend a lot of keystroke to type things out. So I'm sure developers on this call will appreciate if, let's say, you pick up, you use Selenium in any of the languages, and you try to do the same thing as you do for TagUI, you realize that you take a much longer time to get to the same outcome, because in Selenium it's primarily designed for test automation, and you have so much options, so much breadth and depth of methods and options that you take a lot of effort to use. Whereas TagUI has been designed the language from ground up for RPA. So, anytime I'll choose the easiest syntax to get the job done. Yeah. So there are other ways like using object repository, which you can actually abstract out your XPath, your identifier as well, so that it really reads like a human readable text. Yeah.
And Ken, I have to interrupt you here because we have a lot of beginners here. What is an object repository?
Sure. Think of an object repository like a dictionary. Like you have a dictionary at home. So if you want to write a story, and sometimes you need to change the meaning of certain words. So if you have an object repository, you don't have to replace every single references of certain words, right? You just need to change the dictionary definition to the updated definition, for example. So that's the purpose of object repository. In the context of RPA, it will be something like this. Let's say you have 10 RPA robots that do certain things on the same website. So let's say the website is upgraded. So if you do not use an object repository, what you're going to do is you are going to edit the 10 robots from scratch again to make them work with the website, right? Makes sense?
Yeah.
But if you have an object repository, what is going to happen is you will separate the definition of the website into a separate file. For example, you have a definition for the login button, the definition for the email text box, for the password text box. And once you bring all this out of the robots, the robot will just say, click login, type something into email, type something into password, but the actual ID is actually not stored as part of the robot, but it's stored in the object repository. So when that happens and the website changes, all you need to do instead of changing the 10 robots is to just do a quick update on the object repository, and all your 10 robots will continue to work as before. So
Cool.
it helps save you time. Yeah.
Cool. And does this also mean that, let's say that I were at the same company as Andreas, that we be working together, and he was a more experienced developer? Does that mean that he could create components that I, as for example, a junior developer, could use, and so he could be in charge of those?
Yes, indeed. So object repository together with data tables, together with a modular structure, these are mechanisms built into TagUI that helps the more experienced folks of a team or department build all these bricks, so-called bricks and components, that the less experienced folks can quickly get started without spending too much time to pick up all this very domain-specific knowledge.
Cool. And for those of you who have just tuned in, this is the introduction for the session that will start in 4 minutes. We'll be taking the TagUI beginners course, and we have the best teacher with us. We have Ken, as you can see here in the corner, Ken Soh, who actually, he's the founder and architect behind TagUI. So and he also promised me that there's no stupid questions today. Every question is perfectly okay to post in the chat. We are here to learn, and we are all beginners. I haven't touched this tool at all. Maybe I have a bit more extensive background than some of you. So even though you're a beginner, just type in your questions. No stupid questions. And we are so excited to get started. I mean, it's my first live build where I comment on the things. So that one will be nice. I'll be giving Ken some questions on the way, and hopefully you will do as well.
Thanks for the opportunity to be here, Anders.
And Avinash, he says that he has some sound issues, that it sometimes goes silent. Is that the thing for someone else? I don't hear Ken going silent, at least, so hopefully it's not an issue to a lot of you. Abdul, he writes that well said about the questions, Ken. Thank you, Abdul. We'll be starting in 2 minutes, and we'll be taking this Learn RPA with TagUI Beginners course. We'll be starting from scratch. I'll be creating an account, and then we'll get started. So all you need to do is to click this link to get to this page, and we will do it together. You can do it in your own pace. We'll be studying for 25 minutes, and then we'll have 5-minute breaks, and just take it in your own pace. So if you're faster than me, just go ahead, and we can take the breaks together, and we can, if Ken is not having the break, we can bump him with questions and about TagUI and these things. And or maybe we all go to a coffee break. Let's see. I think I'll go. I drink a lot of coffee, so I'll be picking up a lot of coffee on the way in the breaks. And we'll be starting in 1 minute. Bobby Joe says the sound is okay. That's nice. I can't wait to get started. We're getting started here in 1 minute, Ken, and I will share my screen here on Teams. It's so nice of you to spend, that you wanted to spend time with us, and you actually wanted to help. We couldn't have asked for a better teacher. Maybe we could. She will be here in 1 hour. 1 hour. That is Ruth, the creator of half an hour. And that is the creator of the course. So I'm not sure who will be the best teacher. Maybe that will be Ruth or Ken. Who knows? We will have both of them here, and that is really nice. I will Oh, Avinash, she says, I'm way down in South Africa. We could call it packet loss. Sorry, Avinash. I hope you will still attend this session and just take the beginner's course together. And now the time is 9:30. So what we will do here, the plan from here, is that I'll keep Ken in the corner. I'll share my screen, or I actually think that Ken just can look on the YouTube stream. You can see my screen there, right, Ken? There's no reason to share twice.
Yeah. Yep.
I will be going through this. I will comment on what I'm doing. Ken will answer my question, but more important, he will answer your question from the chat. He can see the chat. He will keep a close eye on the chat and answer any question that we might have here. And again, if you like these sessions, you can really help me, you can help the channel, and most important here, you can help TagUI a lot. If you give this video a thumbs up, that will improve the reach of this video. It will get the video out to a lot of new viewers. That's it. Let's get started, Ken. I will go to this link. In case you can't find the link, I'll post it in the chat. It's also in the description of the video. We will be starting now. So we go to this link, and that will get us this page. What I need to do now is that I need to log in to enroll. That will be able to access the sessions, the lectures, and we will also be able to get the badge afterwards, which we can post on LinkedIn. Now I have a login page here, and I don't have a AI Singapore account, so I will register one here. And we'll be waiting a bit. I'll just be taking a free account, right, Ken?
Yes, just a free account.
So we will take a free account, $0. We'll be clicking register now. Everything will be free in this session. Don't worry. The TagUI is completely free, and an AI Singapore account is totally free. Then I'll be scrolling a little bit down, and I will be filling this one out. My username, that will just be my social media tag. You can find me on Twitter, on Instagram, LinkedIn with this tag. Now I'm about to create a password. What I will do is that I will create it over here, just to make sure that I'm the master in sharing my passwords, not very compliant, so I will be having it over here on the other screen. So what you want to do is to, let me have this notebook here. So what you want to do is to create the account through the link. I'll be doing the same here on my screen. I just need the password. There you go. So I'll be posting in the password, and that is strong. That's it. Then I'll be scrolling a little bit down. Now I need a full name. Well, my name is Anders Jensen. My email address, that is anders@jensen.org. My homepage is still not finished. Then I need a phone. You can try to contact me if I will never pick up. Then I need information about my citizenship, the other. Enter your NRIC if you are Singaporean or PR. I'm not. I agree to be subscribed to AI Singapore's mailing list. Fine, that could be very nice. I agree to the terms above, and I place my order. Again, it's completely free to go through this, and it's necessary to take the course, right, Ken?
Yes, indeed. It's more for having a registered email so that the course certification can be sent back to you.
Cool. And now we are about to, it's still loading here.
Oh, I might want to add that in the free account, you can get on the same page where you get the TagUI learning course, there are many free ML and AI related courses that you can take as well if you want to learn about AI.
So we have a lot of other learning opportunities by signing up to this free membership here. And Ken, now I'm at this account page. What should I do to get to the beginner's course now? Is that just browse courses?
Yes.
So I click browse courses. It's just to have everyone with us, so we make sure that we don't lose everyone here. So now I'm at my course page, and I will have the students. I will click that, view courses. Is that right, Ken?
There's a category called everyone. So
everyone,
that will be where the TagUI course sits in.
So you scroll a little bit down, click the everyone here, make sure that everyone is with us. And Daniel and Y, they both ask, will this session be recorded and made available on YouTube? You bet. This session is being recorded, and you can access it by clicking this link later on. The video of the entire session with all of the great answers of Ken will be there. So now I scroll a little bit down. And
I would paste in the chat the direct URL to the course in case some of the viewers missed that part. Yeah.
Can you do that? Then we will just click it from here. I found it, but it might be more easy if you just paste it in the chat. So what we do here, we created a AI Singapore account, which is totally free. You can get access to a lot of other knowledge. And now we are attending the TagUI beginner. Ken, I think you need to post it in the Teams chat. I'm not sure that YouTube allowed for external links. So
that's a good point. Okay, I'll post it in the Teams chat then.
Yeah, and have every one of you registered for an account and is now ready to take the course? Can you let me know in the chat? I'll be copying the link here. So this is the link, the direct link to the course. And I can just paste it in here as well. And the site is loading, learn RPA with TagUI. Now I am logged in. You can see it up here. We can start the course. And again, just take it in your pace. If you fall behind my pace, no worries. You take it in your own pace. You study at home. You can even mute me here so you don't have to listen to me. Listen to your favorite music at Spotify and keep this in background. So when you have a question to me or maybe Ken, just post it in the chat and we'll be there for you. Now I'll click enroll. I'm so excited, Ken.
Looking forward.
Yeah. Sebastian, he is ready. Hey, Sebastian. So I'll be scrolling down and then I'll be taking the course. So what you do here is that we are on the course page. We just scroll down and take the TagUI section 1, TagUI beginner. I click on that. That is the introduction to process automation. And Ken, there's a YouTube video that we will watch. I will not be watching it with sound, or should I be watching it with sound? That might interfere a little bit with the stream. What do you think here?
Yeah, I'm also watching the YouTube video, but with the sound off, so that I can get your voice accurately.
So I'll be watching the YouTube video with Ruth. I will just be talking about what she is writing on her slides. It's empty now. The video is running, and Ruth will probably share some slides in a few seconds. So maybe you and I can talk a bit about this, so we can make sure I don't miss anything here. So the first slide, that is what is robotic process automation. Can you quickly tell us what RPA is, Ken?
Sure. There's some maybe 10-second lag, but I can briefly say what's RPA. So RPA, it's a branch of digital automation where you tell the computer what you want to do on the computer, on applications like desktop application, like web application, like even things as far as command line tools and API calls as well. So essentially, you're asking the computer to do something for you in a rule-based step-by-step process. Yeah, that's
cool.
RPA.
And there's a lag, but I'll be telling you what I see here on my screen, and then I can and then the benefits of RPA. Quick, if you have to quickly before Ruth jumps to the next slide, you have 5 seconds, Ken.
Sure. It saves you time. If you have a repetitive work process that you time and again need to do certain sequence of tasks, then you might consider automating it. But this is something that only happens once a month, once a year. Then maybe the value to automate it is not that high.
Cool. And now Ruth is talking about centralized versus decentralized RPA.
Yes. And for centralized RPA, it's how RPA got started, like UiPath and Blue Prism, where you take out all the processes from different employees and centralize it to the server room to run all this workflow. But as RPA become more mature, there's a rise of decentralized RPA where companies want to empower their employees, their rank and file, to have access to the tools like Microsoft Power Automate Desktop, to let them be empowered to do RPA on their own workflows and on their own repetitive work, within their computer, not at the server room. That's cool. The decentralized mode.
Cool. And now Ruth talks about attended versus unattended RPA. I'm sorry that you have to repeat all this, but that is because we cannot hear the sound from this YouTube video that will interfere with this stream. So attended versus unattended RPA, Ken, can you explain it to us?
Sure. In an attended RPA, it's where you let the RPA run, but you are actually there to watch over it in case there are some steps that you need to manually approve. For example, logging with 2FA, you probably need to be there to key in your token number and so on. Whereas unattended RPA is designed from scratch to run without somebody being there, physically there to observe the process.
Cool. And I love this session because we get so much RPA knowledge. Thank you, Ken. And as I said, there's no stupid questions. So if you have an RPA question, just post it in the chat. Ken will answer it. Is that right, Ken?
Yeah.
And now we have a little bit of enterprise versus ad hoc workflows. What is that about?
Sure. Typically, enterprise workflow will belong to the centralized type of RPA, where you have a typically expensive RPA tool like Blue Prism, and you consolidate all the processes and you run in the server room. Whereas ad hoc workflows is more like something, let's say a particular accountant, they need to do this sequence of activity every week, every month. Then they automate these ad hoc workflows locally on a smaller scale in terms of a volume, in terms of the frequency.
Cool. And that's where we are. Now Ruth is explaining us the difference between these two things here. And what would you say if we talk about in the real world? So how many enterprise developers are there versus ad hoc developers or citizen developers? Do you have an estimate on that?
Sure. For a start, the enterprise developer will be the bulk of the RPA users in the world today, because they will definitely be the one that leading this RPA movement. But as the industry becomes more mature, I think it's fair to assume that more and more individual, they used to call it a term citizen developers. You give your citizen developers Microsoft Power Automate Desktop. You give your citizen developers UiPath Studio X, for example. So you empower your individual rank and file to be able to do RPA on their own. So I think the mature state would be much more ad hoc workflows and citizen developer versus the full-time RPA developer. That would be, I would imagine that would be the mature state. But the number is just one way you're looking at it, because the software developer, the RPA developer, will be working full-time on RPA, whereas as a citizen developer, I'll probably spend less than 10% of my time on RPA. I have other work to do at the rest of the time. So in terms of the work output, the RPA robot output, it doesn't mean the more users you have, it means that there's a much larger output. It just means that the number of users that benefit from RPA is larger, but the work they do may not be as much per person compared to a full-time RPA developer.
Thank you, Ken. And with that, I completed level 1. That is the first of 20 steps. I hope that you are still with me, even though that you fall behind or maybe you're ahead. Perfectly fine. We'll be studying together in this. You can mute the sound and just have this in background, so make sure that you are motivated and you can have the answers from Ken here. So I'll go to lecture 2, Ken. Or maybe I should click next lesson here. Please go back and complete the previous lesson. No, I'll be doing that. I'll be going back to lesson 1. It still says that lesson 1 is, mark complete.
Yeah, you need to complete the quiz to get the badge.
Oh no.
Yeah, the quiz is to test whether you really understand what was covered.
So, I'm on level 2 now, getting started on TagUI. That is another YouTube video that I will be watching. Ruth will take us to it. You can have Ruth's sound if you want back home, but here we will be having Ken's live comment. Join the TagUI community. I already posted a link in the chat to come to Ken's Telegram group. I'm not sure that that's the thing that Ruth will mention here, but there you can get access to real experts of TagUI. And here we go. We have the link, we have the AI Singapore community and other communities. If you would have to pick one of these, Ken earlier told me that is the Telegram, that is where the most of the discussions are, but of course feel free to join all 3 communities. The link is in the chat. If you scroll a little bit up, I posted it, the chat here in the right side. And so Ruth is talking about the community, and that's actually one thing that amazes me a lot about this RPA world as a whole. The community is really strong. I know developers from all over the world. And now we have a TagUI resources, that is the GitHub. Should I do something here, Ken, or can I just watch? I cannot hear. Should I go? Or no, I shouldn't do anything here, right?
Yeah, it's more for to let the different resources be shown to the learners that there are all these support resources, whether it's on Telegram, whether it's on GitHub, whether it's on we have a user forum as well, and very newly added is the Discord channel on Ender's Discord server. So all these are support channels. You can reach out to us and the different experts in the community.
Can please post the link to the GitHub here in the chat. I know we can maybe Google it or something, but and Ruth is taking us through it. I will post it in the chat as well if you want to go there. So are we going to use this link later on the GitHub?
No, not really. It is more for people who have the GitHub accounts. They can use the GitHub to raise questions. And for people who don't have a GitHub account, but they have a Telegram account, they can use Telegram. Mm-hmm. Oops, sorry. Maybe I paste in Teams so it's better. Yeah. Okay. So this is a Telegram account. The
Telegram account, yeah, we got that.
Yeah, and then this is the one for GitHub. And then we even have a weekly Zoom Q&A where users can join to ask any blockers they have. We can troubleshoot live, ask them to share screen, ask for remote control. I love this one. This is the best for troubleshooting. So the link 914 is the link to the Zoom meeting invite. And the last one is we have a user forum. I would say it's the second last one because now we have Anders Discord channel. But Anders, I don't know how to share the Discord channel link because I can only share from the master link. I can't really link to the TagUI page unless somebody already open up the option.
Yeah, I will just be having this. I will share the general here. I will copy. I'm about to type everything in the chat to people. So here you go. That is here we have all 4 links. And now Ruth is talking about the installation. Should I install something here again? I cannot hear her, or is that just to show me?
Yes, now is a good time to install TagUI. So you can start off by going to, there's no link here. I think the link is at the start of the video. It's okay. So what you can do is you can just Google TagUI to go to the TagUI GitHub page.
So TagUI here, and that one will have the first link. I have the GitHub link here. And I'll be clicking that. That is the TagUI. And Ken, I want you to, because we have a lot of beginners here, so we're about to install TagUI. I want to make 100% sure that I'm doing the right thing. Should I click download version 6.105?
Okay, so from that page, there's a link for click download version 6.105 and click on that. It will bring you to the installation page of the options to install. And over at that page, you have slightly different instructions depending on whether you are running on Windows or Mac or Linux. So you just go ahead and follow the respective instructions for your OS.
Yeah. So you're recommended to download TagUI Windows installer instead of the advanced steps below. I will do that as I'm not a very advanced hardware guy or anything, or software guy for that matter. But I'll just be clicking the TagUI Windows installer. Down here we are downloading an exe file, and depending on your internet connection, it might take a little bit longer. Or if you're having a faster one, you will have a faster time downloading. So now I'm downloading TagUI, and in case that you are wondering how we got here, Google TagUI, then click the first link, that will be the GitHub, and we will be clicking the download version 6 point something. I forgot the exact thing, and that will get you here. And then you click TagUI Windows installer, or if you're using Mac for some weird reason, no, I'm just kidding, then you take this one down here. Now my exe file has downloaded. And Ken, I have a lot of people asking about exe files when I do these things. Is this completely safe to click on?
Which file? Can you show me?
The TagUI Windows exe, the thing that I run.
Executable. Yeah, that's safe. Yeah, we package it and upload it.
And now my Windows says it's protected your PC, and then I need to click more info here and click run anyway.
That's right.
Nice. So now the installer writes, I will click install to install TagUI, and now pop up, which you couldn't see, I believe, popped up saying that I need to say yes to some security thing. And to you people out there, are you still with us? Are you ahead of me, or are you behind, or are you just doing the things with me? Let me know in the chat so we can adjust the pace a bit. What we want here is that we make sure that everyone will be able to. That one lost stream here. No, I have not lost the stream. I'll have to make sure Ken is here. There you go. And so I need to click next here. Will I install it on the D drive? Yeah, that's fine. I'll just speak. But if you want to install it elsewhere, you can do that. Now I've installed TagUI, I think, or it's still processing. And let me drag this one in. This one will install Amazon Corretto 8. Ken, before I click next and do that, what is this?
Sure. So as part of TagUI, there's capabilities like OCR, computer vision, and low-level keyboard and mouse automation. So what OCR, I guess you guys are aware, basically from an image of numbers and text, you convert it into digital data. And computer vision means, can I see on the screen a particular button to press by providing an image input? There's a computer vision. And keyboard and mouse automation, it means, can we simulate the low-level keyboard automation of a control tab, alternate tab, Windows key and stuff like that, and mouse automation to control your mouse cursor around the screen to click on the different desktop apps. So to do this, it needs to have Java on your computer. And the Corretto is the Amazon free version of Java that you can install for free. And I won't recommend installing Java from Oracle because a couple of years ago, Java from Oracle is already a commercial software. If you are using, they have the legal right to charge you a fee for using it if you are a business. So better not go that path. You can use Amazon Corretto, which is a free version of Java. It's the proper name is called OpenJDK, but it's a free, and there's no restriction for businesses to use. You are better in a safer legal zone if you use that than the official Java from Oracle.
So I click next here without problems. I will just be taking the standard setup. I hope everything is okay. I just click next and I click install. We are installing here. I click finish, and I'm not sure. Setup progress is still running. Maybe I need to, that was a security thing here. So if my screen blacked out, that was just because I needed to press OK. Now we have successfully installed everything, and I click close. I have installed TagUI. So I can go back to the lectures. Is that right, Ken?
Yes, that's right.
And so I go back here. And in case that you, for some reason, got out of the course, I'll be posting the course link in the chat to get you back to the course page. So now...
But before you get back, maybe you can run the test to make sure it's working properly.
Yeah.
There's a step, I think it's step 6, to try to run once to make sure you can automate Google.
So I open up the command prompt, is that right?
Yes.
Should I click that, or can I just open up my command prompt at my computer?
Oh, you can open your command prompt on your computer.
And then I paste in this one here, and then
yes.
Cool. So
runs.
So to open up the command prompt on your computer, if you are a completely new user, you just type in CMD. That one will be able to open up the command prompt, and I'll drag it in here. It looks a bit messy, and can I just post in this code snippet from here, Ken?
Yes.
Cool. So I paste in, this code snippet that I copied from here. Go ahead and open the command prompt. To open the command prompt, just type CMD in the Windows search and press enter. That will open this command prompt. Now I press enter. it says error cannot find C colon tag UI. I think that is because I installed it on the D drive. Is that right, Ken?
Yeah, that's right. So you probably change to D drive, then it should work.
Yeah, and can you tell me how I edit this command tag here, because that's not something that I'm really familiar with. How do I change C to D?
Sure. So from the command prompt, you just use arrow key to move left so that you can change the letter C to D. So you install on D drive TagUI folder or some other folders.
So and that's why I needed to change here, because that's why. And now actually a Google page opened over here.
Right.
It's and I can just click accept. So TagUI is working on my computer,
Yes.
at least. That's right. Nice.
And one final step to the installation is from the command prompt, you type TagUI space update.
So this is to update TagUI, I assume. Ken, I'm so glad that you are here. I just wanted to say thank. Go ahead.
Yeah. So this command will let you update TagUI to the latest version that we have already mastered. I think the last update I made was yesterday, and you have the latest bug fix and latest features and improvements you have over the one you downloaded, which was built more than 6 months ago.
So, and with that said, we have installed and updated TagUI. This might be a good time to take a break. We will take a 5-minute break here, and feel free to stay, Ken. I'll go up and pick up some coffee. I'm sitting here in my basement. That's where my company is at the moment. That's how far I got. But I'll be picking up some coffee, and we'll be starting in 5 minutes. What I will do here is that I will just be very low-key. I'll be opening a document on my screen that says we are on a 5-minute break, and we are back in 5 minutes. So 5-minute break. See you soon. So
Sure.
and that's what we are doing now. So a 5-minute break, and then we will go back to automating the tag UI. Using the TagUI RPA suite. So see you in 5 minutes. And
Sure,
feel free to stay here and post in your questions in the chat if you are not came this far. We'll be continuing in 5 minutes.
Okay, I'll go for some tea, and I'll be right back in 5 minutes.
Hey, Ken.
Hello.
And
Welcome back.
we'll be starting in 1 minute. Do you see anything in the chat that we have to address, Ken?
No. So nothing
Cool.
left unaddressed.
And let me ask you, viewers out there, have everyone installed TagUI, and did you succeed in that? Because now we will taking the next steps. We will be starting, so I'll be removing this break here, and we will take the next lesson. That is lesson 3, I believe. I picked up some coffee. I really shouldn't be drinking this one in. So now we will have the Word add-in installation, and I have my YouTube videos on mute. But you can listen to Ruth, or we can have Ken taking us through this. Ken, what should I do now, because I cannot hear Ruth? We are about to have the Word add-in solution.
Sure. So
extension.
A choice a user would have to make now would be to either take the course using the Microsoft Word plugin, or continue taking the course using their own favorite editor. Yeah. So there's two differences here. Generally, for the Word plugin, you don't have to work with the command prompt. You have all the toolbars and the buttons to run. But if you have your favorite editor, VS Code or Notepad++, and you're familiar with command prompt, by all means, you can try out the command prompt version. And on the exercise, the course website for this course, Ruth actually created different sample templates for Word and as well for command prompt version of TagUI. So you can pick one that you're more familiar with, or the one you prefer. Yeah.
And Ken, I want to install the Word add-in, so I go into the installation page. And what should I click on here if I'm a little bit stuck?
Sure. So at the installation page, you see after step 9, there's a button to click Microsoft Word plugin installer.
Yeah, here.
Yeah, so that's the one you install.
And I'll just be clicking, closing my Word document here, just to make sure that we won't.
Sure.
So what Ken says, that here on the installation page, in case you don't have the installation page open, I will be pasting in the chat. So, and what you want to do is scroll a little bit down. Here after step 9, we'll installing the MS Word plugin installer. What should Andreas, as the Mac user, what should he do?
Sure. So unfortunately, the Microsoft Word plugin and the Excel plugin for Mac, Microsoft doesn't support the type of low-level functionality that TagUI needs. That's why if you're using Mac and you have Microsoft Office and Word, unfortunately, you cannot use a plugin. You can only rely on the command prompt version of TagUI.
Cool. And now I've unzipped it. Can I just run it directly from the zip, or do I need to extract it to my desktop? Can I just click?
You don't have to. Yeah, you can double-click the setup to get it installed.
So I click the setup, and again, click the more info here, and click run anyway. So now we are running the installation. It shows up here in the main screen. It looks like this. So I just click next. I click next, and the Word add-in will be installed. So we can use TagUI directly from Word. I need to click yes here. And we will be clicking close. So now I think I've installed everything, Ken.
Okay. Then the next step, you could continue with the course. And the next time you open Microsoft Word, there should be a TagUI menu, which you can choose to go to the toolbar.
Cool. And should we do something? Should we just test it just to see that it works?
Yeah, why not? You can open Microsoft Word.
I will be opening Word here. And it says that publisher cannot be verified. Are you sure you want to install this customization? And this is the TagUI Word add-in. Am I sure, Ken?
Yes.
Cool.
You can go ahead.
I click install. And here I click a blank document, and if I haven't awaited Ken's instruction, but so open up a new document, click TagUI RPA, and here we go. Yes. Ken, I want to test this. I want to test that you actually deliver on your promises. What should I do?
Okay, so now that you click on the TagUI RPA menu, try typing into the Word document, maybe you type www.google.com.
Should I just type in the word www.google.com? Yeah, I did that.
Okay, after that, just click the play button to try to run this very simple RPA script.
You are kidding me. Is this going to work?
Yeah, that's it.
No, you're kidding. I click run.
Okay.
And it's loading. It actually it opens up here. This is my main screen behind me. I'll drag it in. This one will make. And if I wanted to, so now this one was Google. But if I wanted to, for example, open up my own homepage, could I just be doing this and then I click run?
Yes. So if you want your own page, you can just paste the URL there and click run. That will validate that the setup and installation is working for both TagUI and the Word plugin.
So it actually worked, but the homepage disappeared. I know that, but how can we keep it on so that it's not closing?
Oh, I see. So after you write a line for the homepage, maybe you want to wait a few seconds. So you just enter the next line. Wait, WAIT.
Wait.
And that's right. And let's say you don't remember the steps. It's actually all available at the menu. There's the wait. Item there on the toolbar. There's other actions as well on the toolbar. So with a wait action, where with a wait step, you will wait for 5 seconds by default before it continues.
So now I'm opening this homepage. It waits for 5 seconds and then the homepage closes.
That's right.
I'll try it. And we will taking the course afterwards. But it's nice to try these things just to build little things. No, it's not that advanced. Now the browser is opening behind me here. Can I touch the browser while doing it? And here we go.
Yes,
There's my homepage.
You
and it should be closing in 5 seconds. There you go. It closed. So now, what? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, and as you become more familiar with TagUI, you realize everything is in human language. For example, you type wait, you wait for default 5 seconds. You can also type wait for 20 seconds, wait for 30 seconds, and that sort of combination. It will interpret it correctly and wait according to what you want.
So this is how easy it is to install TagUI and create our first RPA script. It's a very simple script. We open up home pages. So now let's go back to Ruth and see if there's anything else. This session is done. We have now completed the lesson 3. So I mark this as complete. And we go to the next session. And in case you just joined here, this is the live walkthrough of the TagUI Beginners course. We will be getting the TagUI Beginner certificate. We have the best teacher that we could ask for with us. This is Ken. Ken is very generous with his time. He will be here for the entire sessions, answering all our questions. Now I start a new video. This looks a bit more complicated than the previous lessons. It's about TagUI and XPaths. Can you explain what's going on here, Ken?
Sure. Because the screen is lagging, so I will just explain from my memory. So imagine everyone in your country, you have your ID number that's uniquely identify who you are, right? And when you pay taxes, when you apply for jobs, that's a number you use. So on a web page, every single thing you see on a web page, whether it's a text box, whether it's a button, whether it's a menu, it has an ID as well. So XPath is just a way to access that ID so that you can tell RPA2 exactly what you want to automate on without any ambiguity. So that's the gist of XPath. You can definitely find out more and learn about XPath. That will be very helpful in an RPA journey. But in the event you don't have the time to spend, let's say, half a day to go down into that level of detail, you can use TagUI Chrome extension to help you capture the ID. That's one way to do that. You can also use right-click on your Chrome browser to inspect that element to get the XPath out. You can just right-click. After that, you can copy the XPath out. You can do that as well.
Cool. And it appears that Ruth is not doing that right here, but yeah, we might be doing that a little bit later. So now TagUI web identifiers, an example of using TagUI web identifiers. And then you can see here, this is a code. Ken, what code is this? It says input class, and then it says GLFIF, and then some addresses. What is this actually? And how can we find these things?
So think that would be an example of XPath identifier. So one way to do that is you can right click, let's say on your Chrome browser of the button you want to click on. And once you right click on the button, there's a menu to say inspect. Yeah. And when you click on inspect, you see all the HTML code on your screen, on your Chrome browser. Then what you need to do is to highlight the block of code for the button, to right click again to copy the XPath.
Cool. And we will be doing that in a few seconds, I'm sure. So this one, you can also open it by clicking F12 or Control-Shift-I believe the shortcut for this is. And again, what Ken says, we right click inspect. If yours doesn't show up here in the bottom, it's supposed to this the developer tools is supposed to be here in the bottom. If yours doesn't show up in the bottom, but for example in the right case, just click the 3 dots here and make sure it's stuck to the bottom. That one is more efficient than having it to the right. That was just a tip from me to you. So now Ruth is doing something with Google. Ken, should we be doing that right now?
Right now, we should try to do a demo on Google.
Yeah. So it's just a demo. We're not supposed to do the things.
It's just a demonstration.
Yeah. And Stanley, he writes in some questions. Sorry, I'm kind of slow. Stanley, you are not kind of slow. We are here to learn, so everyone will take it in their own pace. We will make sure everyone will come through in these 3 hours. We have plenty of time, and just ask away like you did here. And I can see Ken already answered in the chat. So Ruth is making this demo, this Google demo. And we will just be watching, and we will be starting to building in the next session, next section. Is that right, Ken?
Yeah. So next one would be right into the examples sample website. Yeah. And
this is really nice for me to see. We have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, a lot of use cases that we will be start doing, and I'll make sure that I'll build it and I'll comment on it. Ken will review that I'm doing everything okay. Remember, I'm just a beginner like you here. I find it very exciting that to have Ken here as an expert helping us going through this course. And it appears that we are almost done of section 1. And are you people still there? Because we see a lot of questions, and I can see people are still here. Ken, so far we have 420 people showing up, and that could be 1 second, or it could be the entire almost 1 hour soon. And that's quite impressive, and it shows how popular TagUI is. And so now we have this XPath cheat sheet. We are about to be done with the fourth step. That means that we are 20% in the course. Do you think that we are slow, or are we on pace, or should we? What should we do from here, Ken?
So far, so good. I guess the next step would be taking the quiz at the end of section 1.
Yeah. That's it.
And, you can give it a try.
So a mark is complete. And otherwise, I'll ask you, and will it be okay if we took this with you? So maybe you can explain to us what's going on here. So I take the basic TagUI, getting started on RPA, and TagUI quiz, and maybe you can review my answers at least. So I'll be starting the quiz. It's 10 questions. We need 80% to pass this. I hope everyone is with me here, and I'll start the quiz. Okay. Which I'll be reading aloud, Ken, and then you can help us on which of the following is false about RPA. So reduces operational and staffing cost. I'll say this one is actually true because we can reduce some of the cost by creating these automation. So it's not this one. Enhanced business reporting through a single source of truth. That might be. Can you explain what this is actually, Ken?
Sure. In IT service management, there's this concept of single source of truth, where ultimately, despite having multiple systems in a company, there's one system that ultimately the foundation for the record and the proof of record, and that's cause it's technically called the source of truth. So in this case,
sure. And then we have it could be this one, right?
so in this case, RPA doesn't really help with maintaining a single source of truth.
No. So and RPA increases employees' productivity. That's right, and it integrates system from the front end with the back end. So
Yes.
When an integration is not there, so we pick this one here, and
Right.
then the next question is: TagUI has 2 tiered versions: free community version and paid premium version. I think we missed that in Ruth's video. We saw that we can AI Singapore had some tiers, and I think if I have to guess, this is not true. We only have 1 tier that is free, right, Ken?
That's right. That's right. It's free.
So this is
There's no
false.
paid
So
version.
this is false, and we'll be going through this. So I hope that you guys down at home will be helping us. A lot of people are writing in the chat. Ken, can you read the comments aloud for me, just so I can participate a bit more and I don't have to turn around?
Sure.
Just and maybe you can explain your answers. You can of course go ahead and write the answers down, but and maybe you can also take them to the session. I'll just be quiet.
So Rody Grower was saying the main difference between Python and Selenium is that TagUI doesn't require an external driver that is highly dependent on the Chrome version. I guess it's not really, that's not really the main difference. Okay, basically TagUI, for TagUI and the Python RPA package, I wrote the engine to automate Chrome. So instead of using Selenium and the Chrome driver, I wrote the engine from scratch to control Chrome. So why I did that is because I want to make sure that part is very stable, very reliable, and we can iterate fast. So, but that usually is something that wouldn't be considered by most users. Like, they don't really care how it's done. So I wouldn't say that's the main difference, yeah. But it is a difference, yeah. TagUI has its own RPA engine to control Chrome. There's not Selenium, there's no Chrome driver, and it works with any latest release of Chrome. We always update to make sure it works across the Chrome releases. And
teacher, can I just interrupt you quickly?
Yeah.
Because I'm taking the, we will come back to Ken, but
Sure.
we are on the page 2 of the quiz because we need to make sure that we're actually taking this course today. And what is the correct order in which TagUI auto-selects the provided web identifier? We missed that because, I missed it because I didn't take Ruth's excellent presentation. Maybe you people home did it. So can you help me here, Ken?
Sure. So this one is actually not covered. I think it was just covered very briefly. So let me try to expand on the screen. So it would be the 4th option, yeah. XPath, CSS, ID,
The name,
so
class. And
this is a technical question, so I just share with you guys the answer directly, because unless you watch a video just now, you refer to it, you won't be able to know this if you are starting RPA from scratch. Yeah, I'll tell you the answer will be the 4th answer. And the reason for this answer is because TagUI has a smart identifier system where you can give different type of inputs as what you want to click on. You can give it XPath, you can throw CSS at it, you can give image attributes at it, you can give it ID, name, and so on. And why is it in this order? Because that's usually the order of uniqueness for what you give. For example, on a web page, ID will be something very unique. And if the web designer did the web page well, you are not supposed to have more than one web element with the same ID, for example. So name is a pretty unique, but not as unique as ID. Whereas the rest, like class and title, you might have a lot of duplicates. So they are not so good for being used as an identifier. So those are the lower priorities.
Cool, and we'll continue on. And I can see coding Zoe is still here. I love what you're doing, Zoe, and you are taking your journey from being a nurse to a programmer. And if you ever want to, Ruth is here. If you ever want to appear here, Zoe, in a live session, I'll be very happy to share your story here and seeing you build something. So let me know in the chat or a direct message if you want to appear maybe in a short build session. But that's for another session. Ruth is here. Hey, Ruth. Yeah, we can hear you. And now we actually have Ruth present, and Ken will be a little bit in the background. We cannot see Ken as much as Ruth. So Ruth, you are the main character now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because she's the one that designed the course, and she will be the best person to guide all of us through. Yeah,
Ruth,
and she was just now at the TagUI Zoom Q&A call that just finished, so she only joined us late. Sorry about that.
thank you, Ruth, for being here. It's an amazing course so far. What we have done here is that I've been taking the course without the sound, so I watched your YouTube videos and Ken explain what's going on. And that's the approach. And I'm about to take the quiz after section 1, and Ken is helping us with the answers because we missed some information here and there, but I think it's very well covered. So yeah, welcome, Ruth.
Hello, nice to be here.
Cool. And now we are on to the next question, which is which of the following is correct about steps and flows? And then we have some things with steps and flows, or we can choose steps and flows are not TagUI concepts at all. If I have to guess, I haven't watched it, and I'm a TagUI beginner. I've just started my TagUI journey with you people back home an hour ago. I would say that steps and flows are not TagUI concepts at all, if I have to guess. Is that right?
What do you think, Ruth?
The quiz is designed in such a way where not all the answers can be found within the course itself. This is to facilitate users to actually look for the answers themselves on the documentation page. Yeah.
Okay, but since we are doing this live build here, can you give us a hint so we can be making sure that we have the viewers and me going through this course? Because or maybe you can tell us about steps and flows then, and then we can maybe we can hear what we are supposed to answer here.
Yeah. So just now when you open a Word document, that will be TagUI definition of a workflow. That will be a flow file, and then within the flow file, you have a line by line. Those will be your steps of what you want to do.
So a word line is a step, so to say, and a flow is the Word document. Is that right?
That's right.
Cool. So steps, specifically steps over or skips an automation where a flow continues the automation. That is not correct. Steps are instructions that execute a particular action, could be right, whereas flows are a collection of steps, conditions, and helper functions. That's how it's done in most or maybe all RPA tools. And flows are instructions that execute a particular action, such as a click, where steps are a collection of flows. No, we go with this one here.
Yeah.
And
so
again, thanks for...
Closest will be second option.
Yeah. And again, thanks for building an amazing course, Ruth. We are about to go through it. And we will be going on to the next. Which one of the following best describes robotic process automation, RPA? It's a centralized system for businesses which ensures every department has access to common data. It is a type of business process automation that involves the creation of rule-based bots which mimic a user's action on a graphical user interface. It's an integration platform which enables applications to connect seamlessly to data sources. It is a mechanical robot which can perform physical actions like lifting weights. I'll go with the two, that is, it's a type of business process automation where we create rule-based bots which mimic a user's action on a graphical user interface, such as Windows or Mac.
Yes, I would think that's the right answer.
The source code for TagUI is public and can be found on GitHub. We already saw that, so that is true, I believe. And then the last question is, Gina is a PhD student who is tasked to collate a large volume of data from a website. These tasks require her to strictly follow a set of rules to complete, such as going through 10 same button clicks to collect each result. She finds this task very mundane and repetitive. Do you think RPA can help her? Yeah, I think if she's doing the same thing and is actually following some rules, then RPA can definitely help her. Do the two of you agree with me?
Definitely a suitable use case. Yep.
And now, and actually, Ruth, Coding Zoe says that you have a fantastic voice and your course is great. She's saying that in the chat, Ruth.
Okay, thank you very much.
And we will be finishing the quiz. So I'll click finish the quiz, and or maybe my results are being recorded. We got 10 out of 10, 100. So now we are continuing. We are continuing to the second part of it. We are done with the first step. I think if everyone is okay, if there's no objections in the chat, we will skip this break because this is so exciting. I can't wait to start building on the use cases. And I see everyone agrees, or they haven't. There's a 20-second delay on this stream, so they haven't got a chance to answer. But we will go directly to the next, if that's okay with you, Ruth, and you can.
Yeah.
And now we are starting to be building something. And before I click, I can click play here. And again, Ruth, we are watching your presentation, but we cannot hear you because that's the nature of this stream. So maybe you can explain what's going on here in this introductory use case.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So in this use case, right? Basically, this Jane is automating like a large volume of jobs. So every day she has to upload some jobs to a job portal, and then later on she has to, for each job that she uploads, she has to process the job applications, and it's based on certain rules, like whether each applicant has meet a certain criteria, then she has to approve or reject them. Yeah, so basically she's trying to use RPA to automate this whole process from end to end.
Cool. And do you think RPA is suitable for this use case? Yeah, we think, because it also says that it's also prone to human errors and a large volume. It's mundane and repetitive. It has a certain set of rules. Yeah, we think so. And this is still the page that we're on. If you're watching the YouTube stream, Ruth, there's a bit of delay here compared to mine, but it will be all right. And again, if you people back from home just join, this is TagUI Beginners course. We're about to build some nice automation that show how easy it is to get started with TagUI. And when we completed this, we have the TagUI's Beginners badge, which is really nice. We can post it on LinkedIn or where we want to use it. So there's a process flow here. Log into a job portal, doing something, doing a for each. Usually we use a for each in RPA to iterate through a collection. That could be most often a data table or an Excel sheet. And we have some criteria, and that's what we do in a for each most often. Again, we have an if criteria. We ask a question, and based on the answer of that question, we can go to different branches. So now it says log into portal. Are we supposed to do something here because we cannot hear you?
Yeah, so this is the process flow. So it's a diagram that usually RPA analysts will come up with this diagram to map out the whole entire process. So it first starts off from
sure, but
logging into the job portal. So on this page, you can see that it's the login page. So you're supposed to fill in the credentials and then click login. Then next, add some job postings to the job portal. So basically, based on a list of jobs in a CSV file, fill up the whole form as seen on the page. And then for each job posted on the form on the page, you're supposed to view the applicant list and then approve or reject the applicants based on the two criteria over there.
Cool. Yeah. So now we are about to get started. We are going to head over to RPA exercise AI Singapore org. I will be putting in here, and then I will paste in the chat so when people back home easily can get it. Oh, sorry, it's here. So it says RPA exercise. RPA exercise. I hope I spelled it right because we cannot copy paste from YouTube. So aisingapore.org. Was that right? Yeah. Hopefully this works. There you go. So now we are on the RPA exercise page. Click download job list to get the CSV file and click start challenge to go to the login page. Let's do that. So here I have it. We scroll a little bit down. We download the job list as Ruth told us. I have it here. I will move it to my desktop so it's easily accessible. We can inspect the data. That's always a good idea. We can open it with Excel or with another, like a notepad or something. But here we have it. This is a CSV file. A CSV file is just a fancy way of showing data. Not a fancy, but an efficient way of showing data. And we can use Notepad, we can use Excel or other Notepad++ to open these things here. So, or we can use an online CSV viewer. So here we have 3 rows with some information in it. And you can see the column headers up here, job title, job description, and we have an idea, which is always good to have, and then some starting days and stuff like that. So each record here, that is Ruth Desbirt. Each line here, that is a record in our data set. So now I can close it again. So what I want to do here is that I want to start the challenge. I do it here. So and here I want to automate the login procedure of this RPA exercise. I will be pasting in the link as promised in the chat. And hopefully everyone is still there. And in case you want to rewatch it, you can always rewind the video if you came here after this was live. So now I did that. Let me go back to this complete, because we have clicking done here with this. So we completed the first lesson. Now we will be logging into this job portal. Mark this as complete. In a few seconds, we'll be taking on to the next one, log into job portal. And I think we need to pay close attention now, because this is the work. We are filling it in the Word. Is that right, Ken? Or we are making the code in the Word?
Yeah, so the next steps will be to actually type the steps to automate into the Word document.
Cool.
But are you at the CSV page?
What do you say?
Okay, because there's a slight lag now. I'm still at on the live stream. I'm still at the CSV file.
Yeah, but I think we are back to the Word document now.
Okay, so
hello, Manoy. Thanks for the. So I'm at the Word editor, the TagUI extension. I hope everyone can see it. I think they can, because I'm on YouTube now and I can see they can.
So, Rolf, what's the best way to do this exercise? Is it to open 2 tabs, where one page for RPA exercise, and the other page you have the steps to do for the RPA exercise?
So where do I find the steps? Oh, so I have yeah, sure. So I go back here. And here I have the step, and what Ken is saying is that we will be starting the challenge in a new tab. So I have the steps here, and that is log into the job portal and everything. Yes. That's here. And everything is here. So I'll open a new tab. Is that right, Ken?
Yes, that's probably the easiest, because from the main page, there's actually section by section a sample so-called instructions, which you can copy into the Word document.
Cool.
That
so what I
be the easiest. Yeah.
So to do that, you can right click here on the start challenge and then open link in a new tab. That one will have this login page opening. So now I will be logging into the job portal. So does that mean that I can just take him from here, that like the chapter 2, log into the job portal, and I do not have to go through the YouTube sessions, or what do you recommend me doing from here?
Yeah, I think
the one on this web page is for people who are not using the add-in. So, for
what do you say, Ruth?
For the guide on the RPA exercise that you showed, yeah, this web page, right, is for people who are using core TagUI without the Word add-in. So, for example, Mac users who don't have Microsoft Word for Windows, they can follow the guide over there. But for everyone else who is using the Word add-in, the recommended tutorial will be following the YouTube course.
So if what Ruth is saying here, just is she saying we'll take the YouTube course here, unless that we are on a Mac or something, then we will be taking these steps here on the challenge page. Was that right?
Yeah.
Cool.
So if you're not using the add-in, you will be following the steps on the challenge page.
Cool. So we have the login here, and we'll be taking the next lecture, because now we are about to log in. So I mark this. Oh, this was not complete. I will be taking this. So first one, we will go. this one, we need to go back. So we need to log in now, and that means that we have to type in something. I'll start the lesson again. So we will be typing in, and we cannot hear you, Ruth. So what we'll be doing in the start of our Word document is that we type in the URL of the login page. Is that right?
Yes, correct. So in order for TagUI to visit any web page, you have to type in the URL. So what it recognizes is actually the HTTP or HTTPS prefix to the URL. Yeah.
Cool. And we done that, and then you're onto a new line, and then you type you click type. Is that right?
I want to add on. If you give a URL with just a www dot, that will work as well. And then you just go to the right HTTPS or HTTP. But if you have a specific HTTPS or HTTP, that works too.
Cool. And now we will be typing something. It says.
Yeah. So you need to type the username and password into the respective fields. So yeah, the syntax for the type step will be type element as text. So what the element can be is basically your XPath or CSS identifier or some kind of identifiers that you have on the page. So the previous part of the course, I guess the quick crash course on XPath, that section actually I showed how to check for the XPath on the web page, which is to right click the element and inspect it. So we can also try to do that with the text boxes on the exercise web page. Yeah.
Cool. So, and what we want to do here, Ruth, is that we go to the login page. There's a little bit of lag here, so you cannot, you will see it in 10 seconds maybe on the stream, but I right click here on this box and then I click inspect. Was that right?
Yes, correct.
And then we have some, so this is one, as you can see, if I hover over here, this one is you can say the address of this UI element, this username input field. And what we'll be using here is the name equals username, is that right?
Yeah, that's true.
And how do I, if I want to get this out easily out, can I copy here from the code, or what can I do to get, because we will use it in Word, what should I do now to get this one over in Word?
Right, so if you see over here, you can use the name identifier over here. So it's username. If not, you can also do a right click and also copy out the XPath, so that will work as well. But to simplify things, I would recommend just using username to identify this field.
So do I
just do type username as
Sure. And it appears that I can just use the username, and because that's the name, that's the identifier. And then what we will do here is that, let me go to Word. So the element that was the username, like this, or you can paste it in if you are 100% sure that you're doing the right thing. And then, so what this says is that we are typing in the username field, and then we want to tell TagUI what text do we want to fill in. And now we want a username in. And you find the username if you hover over this input field, and you can see it's Jane007. So I go back here, and in the text I paste in 007. Let me see if it was with capital letters. No, it wasn't. Jane. That's it. So now we have this one here. Let's just see if there's any steps to be added before we move on. And there's another type. I believe that is the password field that we will be typing in. I'm starting Ruth's YouTube video again. I hope everyone is with us still back home. And let me... yeah, now we're identifying the password, and we will be taking that as well. So if I go...
The username is Jane007, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not 007, yeah.
What did you say? Did I misspell? Oh, yeah.
The username is Jane007, yeah.
Am I stupid or what? Jane007 here. Yeah, and that's why you should always copy-paste things if you can. Don't ever try to manually fill in something. But now we will be filling in the password. And to do so, we will use another type. Then we'll need to find the element of the password field. What you do here is that you right-click on this field, and you click Inspect. And here we can see if we have some, we have the ID here that says password, so that one is fine. Could we just use this ID?
Yes, you can just use the password attribute.
Yeah.
Sorry, the name and ID attribute. Yeah.
Yeah. So we use the password, and then we need to find the password. We hover over here. The best HR. Can I find that in the inspect so I don't have to write it? Where? So the password. Do I need to hover over and then manually type in, or
Yeah,
could
you
I?
can hover over to check out the password.
The best HR 123. Okay, I'll type it in manually. The best HR 123. Was that it? Yeah, that was it. So now I have this step completed. We fill in the username, the password. I believe we have to click some button, the login button. And then we have a click, and then we have the element. Let's see if I can solve it without Ruth's excellent guide here in the video, just to challenge ourselves a bit. So what we do here is that we have a new line. That was a new step, as Ken and Ruth explained to us in the quiz. We click here, and then we need an element. If I go back to the RPA exercise quiz, we need to click this login button. And what we do here, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ruth and Ken, we'll be right clicking here, then I click inspect, and then I find some ID for this login button. And here, Ruth, the only thing I can see here is we have a class, and then we have the login here. What do you recommend? Which attribute do you recommend us to use here?
Yes, you can just use login.
So we use the login, the label.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So adding on to what Ruth just said, right? If let's say you have a button or somewhere with a certain string, you can use that as well. Click login, and it should work.
Cool. So we use the string here, the label, and that's it. And let's see if we have some other steps to add, or if this is I'm restarting your video, Ruth. And yeah, you're taking the idea was login. I couldn't expand it. Yeah, that's right. Click login. Now we save it. So is there? We save it as login. I will just be seeing what's going on. We save the document, and I hope Ruth is about to run this because I want to see if it works soon. Let's check her video. The video is going on now. Ruth closes the Word. Is that right?
No, I saved it I saved the file. The reason why I saved it is so that I can keep a copy of like all the other subflows that I'm gonna create later into the same folder that I'm working in. Yeah.
So and how maybe so if I go back to Word.
Save it. Yeah, you can save it to your desktop or anywhere that you want to save the flow.
So I will be clicking Save As. Then I click Browse. And here I will just be having this on my desktop, and I can just call it login and then save it.
Yeah, so to run it from another file, basically, that is like running a subflow. So from the main file, you use the TagUI step. So basically, the syntax is TagUI, and then the file name of your subflow.
Cool. But how do I, so now I saved it as login. It's perfectly fine. What do I do to start it from another flow, from another Word document? Was that creating a new document on the desktop and then refer to
correct.
it?
You can create a new document on the desktop, and then you refer to it by adding the step TagUI and then login.docx.
Cool. And is that should I just close down this Word document and open up a new one?
Yes, you should.
Cool. And I hope everyone is still with us here in the process. It's so amazing that Ruth will just be creating a new blank document here, and I'll be saving it to my desktop. Is that right? Yes. Should I call it something, Ruth, here? So this master flow, should I call it something other than doc1? What do you recommend?
The master flow, you can call it main.
Main. Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. We call it main. And now I want to go to the TagUI RPA extension. I want to start the login that we just built. I want to start it here from this main. And what I do here, according to your video, Ruth, and again, this is just a live taking. I'll be taking the live course, was that we will say TagUI flow file, and then we'll define the flow file. How do I need to write out this TagUI, or can I have this automatically written in my main?
Yes, you can populate it using the TagUI step under Pro Step. So
TagUI.
The second column TagUI.
Yeah,
you can.
Nice.
TagUI,
and then I say
specify the file, which is login.docx.
That's perfectly. So now so this is a main workflow that I'll be using to start my created login flow. So we invoke this login thing here, or at least I think we'll be restarting Ruth's video. Let me know if I should keep the pace a little bit up, Ken and Ruth, if you think that we are falling behind on time. But it's really nice that you are here, so we can I can get my questions answered. And if everyone back home has some questions, let me know. So now Ruth will be saving this main here. I hope he or she is okay, Ken.
Yeah, so after you save the file, then you can try running it by clicking on the run button.
Yeah.
So that's for the main file. Yeah.
Can I interrupt with it? If the browser opens up over here, can I drag it in, or should I not touch the browser at all when I click run?
Oh, yeah, you can touch. It shouldn't affect.
Cool. I'm having it here. So now we are having the RPA exercise. It's opening. You see, it fills out username. It fills out password. Hopefully, it will click the login button. It did, and then it disappeared. And what Ken told us early on is that we can add a wait. So I'll try to do that. I'll go a little bit beyond the scope, but just to see that it works, I'll add a wait in a new line, and then I click run. Hopefully this will work. No one is interrupting me, so I guess I was right. And coding Soh is a bit slower, but she's still there. Nice. So it's really nice that you're taking this course with us. And now it didn't wait. So it appeared that, do you think everything works here, Ken? Or Ruth?
Okay,
I'm not
so
sure
now
if the browser closed too fast to see it go to the next page.
So I added a wait here to wait, but it appears that I don't click the login, or at least so I think. Do you agree with me?
okay, I see it running.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the login is not being clicked on.
No. So should we inspect the login code?
We can take a look at the logs. Is the output pane showing?
Oh, okay, I get why. I think based on your RPA exercise guide, the login is a lowercase l.
Yeah. What do you say? So here it is. Do you mean this one here?
In the login document.
Yeah, it's using lowercase, it looks like.
Okay. So I should use lowercase here? Like this?
That should be the ID of the button, if I'm not wrong.
So the ID is with lowercase?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's try it again. We saved it, and we can run it again. And set to now we run it, and I'll drag in the browser here.
Yeah. So sorry for the typo.
No, it
was when you use the uppercase L, you actually try to click on the login text at the top of the page.
And now we actually logged in. And I added the wait step so we can see, so we can make perfectly sure that we logged in. So we built our first TagUI automation. We actually installed TagUI. I think this is very, very easy. Ruth and Ken, thanks for building this to us. We'll be taking the next steps now. We're having a short break in 4 minutes, and then we will. So now I'll start Ruth's video again. Now we can log in to to the job portal, and I believe this we'll be going to the next lesson, which is login to job portal visual automation. We'll be starting that. What's happening here? Is that the same as we just did, Ruth?
Yes. So basically, for the visual automation part, we are repeating the same login process, except for using identifiers on a web page like XPath or ID or name attributes. We will be using screenshots of whatever we see on the web page, such as the input text box or the button itself. Yeah.
Cool. Oh, Saturnus, he says that we should add the weight in the login docs instead of the main. What advantage will that have, Ruth? I added it in the main, and
it doesn't matter actually. So basically what it calling a subflow will just be calling it in the chronological order. So after the whole login flow is done, then the next steps will carry out. So no matter you put it in the end of the login flow or at the main file, it will still be the same. Yeah.
Cool. And now you're creating a new Word document called login visual. And are you copying the first one? Yeah, you're copying the login here. So what I'll do, I'll right click here on my previously created login. I copy that one and I paste it in here on my desktop. I need to find it over here. I'll drag it in. So this one is just a copy of the login. Ruth named it login visual.
Yeah, basically this login visual is just to show how visual automation works, but generally we don't recommend using visual automation if you're able to find the identifiers using XPath or other attributes. This is because visual automation is slightly slower and less reliable. Yeah.
No, I will not be creating this automation here. We'll just see what Ruth does, and again. To repeat, always go with the IDs because that is robust automation. These screenshots, they can change and they will change. So don't use that if you can use the IDs. But it's nice to see that it's possible to do it because when we're stuck. Oh, yeah. Sahil, he just made the first donation to this channel in the live chat. Hey, Sahil, and thanks for the donation. My whole screen turned green. It's so amazing. Thank you for being here, Sahil. Yeah. And he made the first donation here on a live stream ever. I didn't know it was possible. I actually know it was possible, but I haven't figured. So that is really nice. Thank you, Sahil, and thanks for being here. Thanks for the awesome work that you do in the Discord. Sahil is a moderator on my Discord as well. And thanks for all the work. He actually helped me setting a lot of things up. And we'll be having a session with Sahil soon. In a couple of weeks, where he will show off some of his RPA skills. So now we can mark this lesson as complete. We have the visual automation. Now we can add a new job posting. But before we do that, we will take the break now. We will have a break of 5 minutes, and then we will come back. So what I'll do, I'll put in this 5-minute break. Back soon. See you.
All right.
See you in 5 minutes. See you in 5 minutes. Yeah. Coffee. Or actually, let us update my Instagram because there I'm sharing stories of my automation journey. If you want to follow me, you can search for Jensen.org. I'll be adding a story now about this session. Hopefully Ken will still be in the picture so I can show off that we have this nice expert with us if someone else wants to join. Ken froze, so hopefully he's still there. Ruth is still there at least, so I'll be sharing that we're having this screen here, Ken. Hey Instagram, we are 1.5 hours in our TagUI live session. You can still join on my YouTube. We have the two experts here. We have Ruth, who you can see here. We also have Ken with us, who is gone because we're having a coffee break. We have a live chat. You should come join the YouTube channel and watch this TagUI session. You will really learn a lot.
Hello guys, I'm back.
Hey Ruth, hey Ken. I think we are about to get started. A lot of nice messages in the chat. And again, thank you, Sahil. It's so nice of you to engage with the donation. You really don't have to. It's a pleasure that all of you are here and enjoying. And you guys there, you can help at home. If you give this stream, if you give it a thumbs up, that will improve the reach. We will get TagUI. We will get this channel. We will get it out to a lot of more new people. So Ruth and Ken's work can be shared across a lot of other developers and business users. The break is done. I will be restarting my TagUI journey. So now we will be adding a job posting. That is an 8-minute long session. Let's see what's going on. Visit, type, click. So now we're about to automate. We logged in. And let us see here. We logged in here. 007. And then the best HR.
So, Anders, would sharing your Teams screen slow down the YouTube streaming? I was thinking if
Then I can. Oh, so you want to create a live, but then I can try, but I'm a little bit unsure that that we miss, because then I miss the pictures of the two of you.
Oh, right, I got it. Because if you share, then we could immediately see and interact without the delay.
We have Ken and Ruth here in the background. I'll be sharing my screen without delay, so we can get a live help, or I can have live help. Help here. Ken and Ruth is with me. I'll be making sure we save it. So now we are about to do something else. We are about to make a new job posting here. We logged in here, and we will make a new job posting. So let's see how we do that. Is that right, Ken?
Yep.
Can you tell us what we do, because I cannot hear what you're saying? So you can see you're opening up the data set that we downloaded, and then you paste it.
Correct. So in this section, we're making use of the concept called data tables. So what data tables does is it repeats the whole workflow on every single record in the data table spreadsheet. So in this case, it will be the whole spreadsheet of different jobs. So what we want to do is to look through them and then go through one by one for each field in that CSV file. We want to upload it to this form on the web page. Yeah.
Sure.
So there's certain fields that are more straightforward, like the job title and description is more or less like a full copy and paste of whatever you see in the data tables. But then for some other fields, like whether it's what kind of job type it is, this and that, is actually a radio button. So you need to write some kind of logic for it. So some kind of very simple if else, and then do a click on the radio button. Yeah.
Sure. And in case that you are here, this is Ruth speaking. Ruth created the course. She's there to help me. I just shared my screen with Ruth so they can see live what I do. And Ruth is here in the background. Thanks again, Ruth, So what I will do here, this is my main. I'll be creating a new Word document where I click these things, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So I right click on my desktop, click new, and then oh, that was a bitmap. That was not right. I'll be clicking new, then Microsoft Word document. And what do you call it? Is that just
name it a new job posting?
New job posting, like this.
Yeah.
And then I can open it. And what I do here is that make sure I have the TagUI extension installed. That one is this one here. So now the first thing that I want to do is I will be clicking this new job posting. And we already learned that to find the ID of this, we right click and then we click inspect. Another way of getting there is to click this one here and then we can see it here. But let's just do as Ruth recommended me, right click and then inspect. And the name of this, the label here is, the ID here is new job posting. Is that right?
You can refer to the button ID over at the top over there, which is the one line above. Yeah. So I think you just click into the span of it, but if you click over the whole thing,
we take the ID here. Yeah. We take the ID here. And
take the ID wherever you can. That's usually the best identifier. ID.
And what I want to do, I want to click this button. So we are using a click. I find the click up here in Word. I click, and then we need an element. And here I can just paste in the ID.
Yes.
And just to educate people here, what code is this that we're seeing here? I know that we can inspect. Maybe you can repeat what this code is all about.
Sure. All this you see is HTML code, which is the language of the websites. So a web developer will be very familiar. But for us, all we need to know is to go straight to the element that you want, and then you can take out the ID. There's also another trick, and this I can show you. So now you can right-click on the block of a button class.
What do you say?
Click on it. You can try right-clicking on that. Yes,
here?
the HTML code. No, at the HTML portion.
Yeah, here.
Yeah, you can right-click and you can choose copy. And you can choose copy XPath.
So this is XPath that we're using. So
yes. So this is another way. which you can use as well. Instead of you deciding what attribute to use, using this will work as well using XPath.
But the other one seems nicer to read.
Yeah, yeah, indeed.
So now we click on a new job posting, and a good trick is to do the things because we are automating the next page, and clicking the new job posting, that will get this up. And what I want to do now is that I want to have my data down here. I saw Ruth did it, so I'll open up the Excel file, which I have here on my desktop, or the CSV file, which is here. Was that right? And then we copy in a row like this, right?
Yes, correct. So what you want to do is to copy the job title and basically you can refer to it here like this, and then you want to do a type inside the text box for job title, so you can click on the type step.
And this is just to repeat, we are about to fill in a job posting based on our Excel sheet, right, Ruth?
Yeah, that's correct.
So here I will have a type, and I'll find it up here, type. And what we need to do here is that we need to identify where we want to type, and then we will have the actual text here. So to identify again, I believe that we can go over here, we can click inspect, and here we will use the ID job title that will identify this one here. So ID job title, and I will just be taking this one out here and into my Word document. So that is the job title, and then we need to specify what do we want to type in. Are we hard coding in the job title, which I believe is which one of these is the job title, Ruth? That is the first one, that is training and development specialist. Are we hard coding in this for now?
Yeah, for now, yes. So but later on we can actually show how to automate this by using data tables. Yeah.
So this is right?
Yes, correct.
And so now I have this type in. How many other fields should I take? All the fields down here? So I move on to the...
The next one will be job description. So you can also use the type step again.
Sure. And let me see, and correct me. Now I want to fill in job description. That is the responsibility of this role, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, whoever filled that one in, that must be Ken. And so I right click here, job description, and click inspect. And now I want the ID of this field, and I will use the job description, this ID here, copy that one here over to my Word document, and in the element I just paste in the job description. Now I need to type in what do I want to type in, and as we just talked with Ruth about, we will just hard code in the text from here.
Yes, so this section will be very similar to what we have learned previously for the login portion. So it's so all the learners can have some kind of hands-on practice to see how to fill up a simple form using some data that we have. Yeah.
We will do that. And so now let me go a little bit ahead. Now we are about to automate what looks like a combo box or some sort of it. Is that right?
Yeah, so this is a drop-down.
That's right.
Yeah.
Drop-down box.
Drop-down, yeah. And how do I do that? That's not a type into, I believe. Which step do I need to take here?
It's the select step over there on the second column.
And then we identify this element. I believe we are becoming small experts in this HTML, which is a good skill to have as an RPA developer. So you guys back home, I really recommend you to do these steps with me. A lot of you will watch this stream later on, but still do it. That will improve your skills and capabilities, not only if you want to use TagUI, but as in general. Of course, you will use TagUI after this session, but that was just a quick one here. So the hiring department, I'll get this ID by right-click, inspect, and another thing that I can do instead of right-clicking all these things, I can click this arrow in the box here, and now I can click here, and that will get me the same place. And I take the job, the hiring department, sorry, that was the drop down here. That is this one here. I'll take this one here, and then I go back here. So the element, let me paste in. The element is the hiring department, and then the option, that one will be the value of it, and that one is the human resource. So like this. like this. And the next one is the educational level. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. So it's very similar to what you have done for the hiring department.
Sure. And if there's any smarter way of doing these things that I do here, simply just let me know, Ruth. You can interrupt me. You will not be rude at all.
Yeah, sure. So one thing to take note for the select step is when you inspect the element, it has to be the one that you see over there, which has the select tag over there. Certain drop-down lists in modern web frameworks like React and stuff, they don't really use the select tag anymore. So what they do is basically have layers of div to make it look like a drop-down list. So for those options, what you can do is actually do like a user click to get the options that you want and not use the select.
But we'll be using the select for now. But as Ruth says, that some of the newer things, we'll just be using click.
Yeah, correct. Because once you inspect it, as long as the drop-down list doesn't have the select tag over there, as you can see, like select name equals education level. If it's not in this format, then you cannot use the select step. Yeah.
Oh no! Now we will be having a date picker. Is that difficult to automate, Ruth? Because
for this case is So one thing that we want to show in this example is that certain elements look very hard to automate on the first glance, but then if you look at it, the date picker, you can actually type the date inside. So basically we can just straight away use a type step as well. If you try typing into the date picker, it works as well.
So what should I do here? Should I what we're saying? Should I be clicking here?
You can just use the type step for this one.
Type?
So yeah.
Oh, and then I type in. Yeah, that's.
It actually works as well. So some of the things that look very hard to automate at first glance, you can think of other ways to automate it. I'm sure if you are using some clicks and using the interface for the calendar, it works as well, but that would be more tedious. Yeah.
Cool. And just want to quickly, how do I get to the next line here? Do I need to just by using the keyboard? Because if I press enter, nothing really happens. What should I do?
You can do a right button and then enter.
Sure. Thank you, Ruth. Sometimes it's the most easy solution is right in front of your nose. So I choose another type for the end date. So I pick in type. Then I inspect this element, posting end date here. We will have it here, and the end date, we are hard coding in this one here. And what Ruth promised us is that we will make it work with the CSV file a little later. So I right click, press enter. Now we have only two things to fill in. We have this remote here, and this is radio buttons. And can we use the select for the radio buttons as well?
Okay, so for the radio buttons, let's start by inspecting the radio buttons and see what we have in the.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so if you take a look at the radio button over there, right? For the yes one, we have this radio button yes, and then if you inspect the no one, then you have name equals to remote and value equals no. So if you inspect the no one, can we take a look?
What is it? Oh, so if we inspect the no one, yeah.
Yeah.
That one's here. Yeah.
Okay. Hold on a second. Can you try inspecting the button itself again?
So the no.
Yeah. Okay. So if you take note, just now, for the radio button yes and radio button no, right? They both share the same name.
So we can use the remote.
So we cannot use the remote as the identifier because both of the radio buttons have the same name. So for this one, we will just copy out the XPath or whichever one that we want to click.
So if and I can see that we are going to have the no. So what we will do here is to inspect this one here, inspect the no, and then we right click here.
On the radio, yeah, that one.
Yeah, so I right click here, then I copy and copy as XPath, right?
Yes, correct.
And then I so over here, what should I write? I can paste in the XPath And is that enough?
You can do a click step.
Oh, let me.
So you can just put a click in front. You can just type it in front so it works as well.
Sure. I'll be clicking here, right?
Yes. Correct.
So now we have the XPath. So this one is just filling it in. Now we just need to have these selections here. And how do we automate those, Ruth?
Very similar to the previous one. So whichever one that you want to click. In this case, it'll be full time. So you will inspect for that one, and then you can.
So we will be, and we will have it. So the job type that is full time, maybe. Sorry. So we'll be inspecting this one here. That is this one here, and we just copy out the XPath.
I think you have to inspect on the box itself, like the selection.
Oh, so what do you say?
You have to inspect on the checkbox itself.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Yeah, we have it up here.
Yeah, and it seems like for this one, the ID and the name are both unique to the selection. So just now previously, the remote one was shared between, they both have the same name, but for this, we have unique IDs. So we can use that as the identifier.
Sure. Thank you, Ruth. And we will be using a click, I believe, here.
Yes, you can.
Like this. So now we have actually, we have automated all these things here. Should we also click submit?
Yes, we should click the submit button as well. So similarly, we can inspect the submit button and then we can do a click step on it.
Ruth, it's so nice to having you here. Thanks for spending your time. Ken was also nice, but as the course creator, I'm very impressed by this, and I'm very honored that you wanted to spend your time here on this stream. Thank you.
Thanks for the chance. Yeah.
So we have
for the submit button, because it's just a submit text, you can probably use a click submit.
So we have this submit. So, and what Ken is saying here is that it is a button with a submit on. We can just use a click and then submit. Is that what you're saying, Ken?
Yeah, that's right. So, but if you use a
right?
Yes, so if you have a uppercase S submit, you click on it using the text label. If you have a lowercase S submit, you click using the ID. You automatically find the right match.
Sure. So if I'm having, I'm having a click here. Oh. Put it in here, that way. So here I'm having the uppercase, that one will be the label, and what Ken says is I can also use the idea, that will be the lowercase, right?
That's right.
Is there best practice? What should I use, the label or the idea?
Best practice in terms of reliability is to use ID, and best practice if you favor readability of your script will be using the text.
Sure.
It depends. If you are developing for an end user, maybe something more readable, they prefer it. But if it's more for unattended, then they are not going to touch the workflow, then ID would be better.
So now we actually filled in a job posting, and because we don't, this YouTube here is silent. Is there anything more I need to do in this lesson?
No, so this one is just basically very much a practice, very similar to the one that we did for the login. So it's just hard coding everything inside. So the next one we will show you how to optimize one of the steps. So just now, if you remember, one of the fields was very long, which is the description field. So there's a solution to actually optimize this automation. Yeah. So it's also optional. Yeah.
But what I want to do here is that we have now created a new job posting. We need to put that into our main, right?
Correct. You have to remove the stray words at the bottom as well.
What do I have to remove?
The copied stuff. Yeah, that one. Correct.
So, and now we will have the wait. So we can have it right click this one here. And then we want to use we want to invoke this. Is that, so we go over here. Let me just have this one here. And what we wanted to do here is that we want a TagUI. Can you repeat what I need to do to have this one appeared up here?
Yeah, sure. So it will work the same way. So you want to call the new job posting flow, so you have to use the TagUI step. So to call it, will be TagUI and new job posting.
Sure. And then it was new job posting. DOCO X, like this. So this one should work, right?
Yes, correct.
Should we try to run it?
Yeah, sure, you can try to run it. But it'll take a while because of all the hard-coded stuff will be running for very long.
That's
you can
okay.
kill it after a while because there's a stop button over there.
And it's Ruth and Ken here in the background. Ruth and Ken, they are both from TagUI, and I'm be sharing my screen now so you can see them, but they're still here to help us. So any questions are welcome in the chat. Here we are filling in actually our very first TagUI job posting.
Yeah, I'm monitoring the chat closely, so feel free to ask any questions. I'll reply there while Anders and Ruth is going through the course.
Sure, and we have 700 people, 686 people coming to the stream, like maybe 1 second or more, but still, it's a lot of people, and a lot of you people back home here, you will be taking this course with me delayed. So welcome to you as well. If you're watching this somewhere in the future, let me know in the comments if you watch this in the future. And please, if you want to help this stream and TagUI and me, you can give it a thumbs up. That will get us out to more people. So now we have completed this and we can optimize something. Is that right, Ruth?
Yes, correct. So this video is actually optional. So I can just briefly explain like how this optimization works. So very similar to the visual automation part of it. If you notice this portion over here, like probably the job description is the longest one, right? So just now, if you notice the automation run, it ran very slowly. So what we want to do here is to try to make it like a copy and paste, like in 1 second, the entire sentence. So we can do a visual automation over here, and then what it does is basically look for the text box and then do a Control-C, Control-V inside that text box itself with the entire string of text.
Cool.
Yeah. But as mentioned previously, visual automation should be avoided if possible for web automation due to due to some reasons. So that's why this video is actually optional. But if you would like to make it optimized, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Cool.
So I want to add that this method works because sometimes you have a long string of text, like imagine 1,000 characters. If you were to simulate typing that out, it would take very long, maybe 5 minutes, for example. But by doing it this way, you copy everything into the clipboard and Control-V. You straight away simulate the pasting from clipboard and fill up the form immediately without all this delay. So that's the benefit of this method.
Nice.
Also, adding on to that, there's also in the TagUI Turbo mode option where it instantly paste the text as well. But for that mode, it depends on certain website. It may not work with some website that cannot accept a user input that's too fast. So that's why we didn't cover that right here.
It's so amazing to have front row seats to two experts like this, and I'm actually able to take the certification and have the two best teachers. So really nice. Thanks for all the explanations, Ken and Ruth. I'll be marking this as complete because that was visual optimization. Go ahead and take this one because it will teach you a lot. But now we will go on to the next one, and that is we want to add multiple job postings. And if I start the video, it's a 10-minute long video. Should we watch the video, or can the two of you guide me through it?
Yep, sure, we can guide you through it. So this part will be very interesting because it makes use of the data table concept that I mentioned previously. So instead of like copy pasting these codes like 3 times to upload for 3 jobs, right? We can actually just make use of this code once, and then what the data table concept will do is to run this whole flow over 3 times for each record. Yeah.
And where do I need to start?
Okay, so for this file that you have open over here for the new job posting file, right? Basically, what we want to do is to replace all those hard-coded strings with what we have in the CSV file. So for example, yeah, that will be the training and development specialist and the long string of text over there, human resource, everything over there. So what we want to do is to make use of whatever we have in the CSV file. So in the video over there, I'm actually explaining like how we call variables in TagUI. So how we call variables is is wrapping the variable inside backticks. So the backticks is on your keyboard is on the left hand side top.
So what do you say I want to do?
You have to in order to call and access your variables in TagUI, you have to use backticks. So the backticks button on your keyboard can be found on the left top side of your keyboard. So what we want to do is to call each column in the data table as a variable. Yeah, so in the video that is showing on your screen over there, I was explaining like how to call backticks, how to call all the variables in backticks. Yeah, so in the Excel file over here, each column can be accessed. For example, training and development specialist, it can be accessed in the headers over there as highlighted. So for example, job title, job description, etc. So we want to call those variables as seen by wrapping it in backticks. So we can replace the hard-coded strings with the variables in backticks. Yes, that's correct.
And actually, my backticks is shift and then something to the right of a 0. I'm running a European keyboard, a Danish keyboard actually, with a lot of special characters. So
I see.
Yeah. And just to show you if I have some Europeans here, I found it up here by clicking shift and then this button here. But it can be placed different places based on your geographical position in the world. But now I will be replacing these hard-coded ones with these ones here, and those ones are backticks that I wrote here, right, Ruth?
Yeah, that's correct.
So then we will find it in the CSV. Have I that opened? Yeah, I have it here. So that is the job title. So that is the first one. Yeah. So and job title. So instead of this training and development, I'll be pasting in the single, this one here, or the backticks, and then I will have the backticks again, like this. Is that right?
Looks good.
And then we want a job description. And that one is called this one here. So I go up here, I copy it in. I will just be deleting everything here, pasting it in, and making sure to have these backticks here in. Oh.
Right.
Can I just do it here?
Yeah. If you miss out the backtick, what would happen is I think I would interpret it as text and try to type that text out instead of getting from this data table.
Sure, and then I will have this human resource, and then like this. Then we have the hire, that was the hiring department, and we want the educational level. Because what we want to do now is that we want to iterate through each record of this CSV file here.
Okay, all right.
And in case you just joined, this is the TagUI Beginners Course live stream. We are taking the TagUI Beginners Course together. You can get the TagUI certificate. You can just rewind the video and take it from the start if you want, or have a look here and learn something new. So then I have the start date. Like this, and then we have the end date. But it seems quite easy to write code. I've never been a big fan of code, but this is really easy.
I think there's a stray space for the posting and date.
And here I have the remote, but the full time I can type that in. That will be the job type. And then you have to guide me what I have to do with the remote in a bit. I'll just be...
Okay, so for the remote and job type, both of them you have to...
Oh yeah, here I have to make some...
Yeah, you have to make some... you have to do some if else, very simple if else for these.
So
this is because
we will take the...
On the data tables is actually not exactly what you want to click. So for example, if it's a no, you have to click this particular XPath. If it's a yes, then you have to click another XPath.
Sure.
Yeah, so what we want to do is we want to get both XPath for yes and no. So currently we have the no one. We also need to copy the XPath for the yes radio button.
Sure, and that one is here. That is we had the no, right? Yeah, we want the yes, and that was this one here. Yeah, so we inspect it, and
it's the one highlighted. Yeah.
Yeah,
the
here.
One that's highlighted below.
Oh, here. Yeah, we want This one here?
By the way, can you guys hear my daughter crying in the background, or it's okay? She's fine.
It's okay. Is he okay, Ken?
Yeah. I'm in my workroom, but she's in the living room with her mom. But I think the sound is a bit loud, so I scared it might interrupt. Yeah.
So now it's very fine, Ken, and I hope that she is okay. So here we have the other XPath.
Yes, so now we want to do a very simple if else. So well, we can make use of the if condition in the ribbon over there. If you take a look at the top, you see an if condition. Yes, so if we take a look at it, we can do if something and then.
So if some condition, right?
Yes, correct.
And that one will be based on whatever it's in our CSV file. So whatever this is remote.
Yeah. So for if conditions, it is calling the variable will be slightly special, so you don't have to wrap it in backticks anymore.
Okay.
So for certain things like if condition and so if remote equals to yes, so basically TagUI has a library of words that you can make do comparisons with. So instead of using those symbols to do your comparison, you can use the word equals to. So you can just type it out, equals to.
Like this?
You can type it out in words.
What do you say? Oh, equals to, sorry. Like this?
Yes, correct. Equals to yes. So, but for this case, if you are doing a comparison to a string, so you have to wrap the yes in quotation mark.
Sure.
Yes, correct.
So now I have the if, and maybe I can just delete it up here so I didn't. So I have the if, and then we do this first XPath. That is fine, and then we want the else branch. How do I do that?
Yes. So for that next sentence, you have to actually do a click step. So if remote equals to yes, then you want to click the yes radio button. So yeah, you can do that.
Like this?
Yes. Another thing that you have to take note of is for if condition, it has to be the following line after the condition has to be indented. So to indent it, you can add spaces or tabs. So in this case, maybe you can add like 2 spaces.
Where do I want to add 2 spaces here?
In front of the word click.
Yeah.
To indent it, yes. Yeah, actually the helper function at the top should be able to indent it properly. So, but I'm not sure why it's not showing up properly here. Maybe you can try to click it again later and see. Okay. And after this, the next sentence you want to do a else.
Yeah. So I want the else down on the next line here.
Correct. Else.
Like this.
Right. So next to do the click step on the the following.
That is this one, right? Is this some steps? Was that? Sorry.
It was supposed to populate together with the indentation, but I think because you have multiple lines after it, so it might not render properly.
Do I want this sum steps with here?
No, you can delete the whole line away.
But should I copy the sum steps? I don't know what that is. No?
No, you can just delete it away.
Like this. And what is this one here?
Yeah, it should be the second one, right? The one with the label too, so it's different from the first. The first.
So I need this one instead of the other one. Yeah. Like this.
And your else is, I think, capitalized.
What do you say?
A lowercase e, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether that will work, but uppercase, I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe lowercase would be safer.
Yeah.
And I can delete this one here, right?
Yes, correct. So that looks good. Okay.
And Ken, we have a question in the chat. Sebastian asks, sometimes you have data where there's a backticks in a text string. Will that annoy TagUI or Ruth?
That depends on where the data is. Let's say you're reading something from a web page, that's fine. You are reading a text file and you're uploading, that's fine. As long as you don't try to type that into TagUI instruction, otherwise it will be interpreted as a variable.
Cool. So Ruth, now we have made this if else, right?
Yes, correct. So the next one will be very similar. So we basically need to write for if statement. So to check the job type and whether it contains the particular string. So if we take a look at the CSV file over there for the job types, right, it's either full time, and then the next for the second entry we can take a look over there is either part-time or something else, right? If you take a look. So
Yeah.
so for this checkbox over here, we can have multiple options for each job entry. So maybe it can be both part-time and permanent, something like that. So what we want to do is we can click on multiple of them. So we need to have 4 if statements for this. So
Or do we
write
need
one-
to, so we cannot make a switch kind of thing? We need to have four if steps here.
In TagUI, usually we teach if statement. Yeah, but if you would like to write in JavaScript code, you can also write it in JavaScript code as well, because the engine behind TagUI is using JavaScript. Yeah. So if you're familiar with JavaScript, you can also use JavaScript code. But usually we will just use the if statement. So for this case, if we take a look at each entry for the job type, so within a within each entry you can have either or, right? So they are separated by a slash. So the whole string contains both full-time and permanent. So what we want to find is whether it contains the word full-time. So in this case, we won't use equals to, we will use contains. So if job type contains full-time, and if job type contains part-time. Yeah, so basically in the whole string we are searching for that particular part only. That's why we're not using equals to.
So I'll say contains up here.
Yes, correct. Contains, and we don't need the two behind it. So
What do you say? Oh,
we don't need
contains,
the
yeah.
two.
Oh.
Mm.
Of course.
Where is it contains full time, and then we'll click that. Yes, similarly we will do the same for the rest, which is contains part time, and then click job type.
Cool. Ruth, thanks for your help. It's helping me a lot to take this exercise. And then I want the part-time. And what I do here is that I right-click, inspect. And this one,
You can inspect on the checkbox itself, which is the...
Yeah. That's a great one.
So it depends
Because
on
that's
where you want to click or do something to it. Yeah.
like this.
Yes, correct. So you can make use of the ID, and then it'll be very
So do we want to take the temp and permanent as well?
because some of the records contain those.
Oh yeah, some of them were. So I'll just be making 2 more. One is for the temp, and this one is for the permanent. So if it contains, let me see, temp here, you see that we can actually have 2 of these ones here. So we can have both full-time and permanent, and temp and permanent. So let's take the temp first. So it contains the temp like this, and we will be having the permanent here. Now we just need to fix permanent. Now we just need to fix this ID here. So the temp, let's inspect that one. That one will be this one here. Inspect. Job type temp. Copy that one in, and we will be copying it in here. Then the permanent. So right click, inspect. Not sure what I did here. That one will be the permanent. Like this. So now we have completed it. I believe at least we have written in to make it dynamically instead of as a hard-coded values in. And now we just need to add how we iterating through it. Is that right, Ruth?
Yes, that's correct. So for this new job posting flow, we have already settled it. So next up, we want to link it back to the main flow. So we want to call this new job posting flow as a subflow. So if we save this file and then we open up the main file. Yes, so what we realized is we first log in and then we run the new job posting right after that, right? So if we were to run data tables on this main file, what it will do is for every record, the current way of whatever you see on this script will actually run a login flow 3 times on each record. So if we recollect what is the purpose of data table is to run the whole flow on each record. So we don't want to do that because we only want to log in once on the first iteration. Right. Yeah. So what we can do is actually there's this special keyword called iteration. So it basically you are able to assess which row in the CSV file or which iteration you are on by using that iteration variable. Yeah. So it's just spelled as iteration. So what we want to do is do a if condition on the first line TagUI login.docs such that if iteration equals to 1, then we will run the subflow.
So so in front of this tag UI login, I want to make an if condition.
Yes, that's correct.
So I'll say
Yeah, because we don't want to run it 3 times, so we want to run it only on the first run. So
what happened here? If echo.
I think you can do a control Z. Yeah.
This one was
Maybe you can have like you can have to hit the enter key twice and then you have a blank space. Yeah, and then you go up there and then you try the if condition. Yeah, okay, maybe yeah that works. So if iteration equals to 1,
Oh, the equals should be typed outside, correct?
like this?
yeah.
Oh, that's
And
fine.
then
Okay.
yeah, I think it's fine. And then you can copy that. There's some steps there.
This one here, the login.
Yeah, correct. You can just use the indentation that's provided for you.
Where do I want to write it? In here?
Yeah, you can just override this. Yes, correct. So
over here
the
may
double
have some
line-
problem because just now, Ruth, you were using 2 spaces as indentation, but this one doesn't look like 2 spaces. Probably after compiling, you might have some problem.
Oh yeah. So maybe in this case we have to use 2 spaces as well to
Instead
keep
of
the
so
indentation.
like this.
Yes, correct. And then after that we want to run the new job posting. Yeah, so that's correct. So in this case we were only running the login subflow only once on the first iteration. Okay, so after this you will need to specify the data tables. So on this main file over here, we want to show the task pane. So actually the new job posting file, we can close it already because we don't need it anymore.
So what do you say?
We can close the new job posting file because we don't need it anymore. Okay, then we open the task pane on the main file.
What I want to open?
The show task pane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then we want to specify the data table file. So we want to check the checkbox over there, and then we browse for our basically the CSV file.
That is this one.
Okay. Yeah, so after you have specified the data table file, it will run the whole main flow on every record of it when you run it.
So what do I need to add now?
You can just save and try running it.
And so we are logging in, and maybe we just need to go to the front page, right?
It doesn't matter because the Chrome browser that TagUI uses actually.
Oh yeah, that's
user
it.
profile.
Of course. So let's try to run it, and I'm very impressed if this works.
Yeah, you have to close that file as well.
Ruth, I'm very impressed if I was able to make my first TagUI automation here. I'll be having a close look on the browser.
Ruth, have you tried running this entire workflow on the turbo mode? Does it work for this website?
Yeah, actually I tried the turbo mode the other time when there's a lot of scripts to go.
Oh, it works. Okay.
Nothing is happening, is that right?
Is there anything in the output pane? Maybe you can try clicking on run again.
We'll be clicking run. And those of you that are here, are you further ahead than me, or are you behind, or maybe at pace? Please let me know. So right now it's just it seems like it's thinking, right?
Yeah. So what happens is it will try to compile the various subflows or document into one in the backend, and then you run that as a whole. Okay. Did it stop?
No, I don't click nothing. It stopped itself.
I think it stopped. Wait, let me see.
It's always a bit nerve-wracking here in these live demos.
Yeah, you bet.
What should I be doing here to debug it, you think?
Maybe you can close this windows and then restart.
What should I close?
This Word document and open it again.
So this main? Be closing it, and where did I save the?
It should be in your desktop, I think.
Yeah, it's over here. Sorry. The main was here. I'll open it again. Should I try to run it again?
Yes, you can try to run it again.
And this is the TagUI beginners course. We're taking it together. We are learning a lot here because we have both Ruth and Ken with us. Those ones are the one you can hear. Now it just start and then stopped again. I didn't click anything.
Maybe we can look at the task pane and see whether there's some error message in the output that can give us some clue.
Should I run it again?
I tried the screen first to take a look.
Yeah, see what's under the output pane. By clicking on the maximize for the word window. Yeah, does it show up? Automation. Missing indentation. There's something.
Oh, it's the indentation here. Okay,
Yeah.
then maybe we have to take a look at the new job posting file. Maybe you can open that again.
That one was the over here. I just need to find it.
Seems to be saying missing indentation at the URL portion.
And that one was in the login, right?
Oh, that's the login. Okay.
Yeah, but
Open up the login.
looks to be okay.
That line, okay. Okay, the job type full time. I think you forget to indent the following line for all the checkboxes. So for every if conditions, you need to add the following line has to be indented.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so on all those clicks, you have to add 2 more spaces.
What are you saying?
Okay, so for these the last four if conditions, the second lines have to be indented for it to work.
What do it have to be?
You have to add 2 spaces in front of the click.
Okay.
I think this should work.
Okay, we'll try again. And as MD says in the chat, debugging is normal, perfection is hard. And that's why we love this, because we get to see how you people would do it. It's still stopped, I think.
Yeah, so seeing some indentation missing around the login line. So the login line would be that line where you call login. Maybe I don't know whether it's I don't know whether it's formatting issue. Maybe you can try deleting the spaces away again, and then just enter a new line and 2 spaces again to see whether that works.
Like this?
Yeah, so there's 2 spaces in front, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can try that. If that still has an issue, maybe we just indent with a tab for all the indentation.
You'll see. Yeah, it still says that there's a missing indentation for RPA exercise A Singapore org login.
Right. Then in that case, then we try to indent with a tab here.
And that is actually what.
Okay.
What?
And
Why?
you save this file. Okay. So maybe just run to make sure this error is gone. Then if it works, we just replace the rest with the tabs. See whether we get the same message. So that part is gone. So now you can go to the new job posting to replace all the indentation with a tab.
So
This is the latest word adding character.
we are changing these 2 spaces with a tab. That's
Yes.
all we want to do here.
Yes. So in TagUI, users can choose between using tabs or spaces, but as long as the same format is okay. And for spaces, you can choose any number of spaces as you want for each indentation.
Shall we
Okay,
try?
let's see whether that works.
We are compiling, it looks like. And Y says that for my case, 2 spaces. Oh, now it actually appears that we can open a browser.
There might be some dummy space somewhere, I guess. Can't find variable iteration.
It actually closes down again quite fast.
Probably you have to update TagUI. So if you click on the update button on the ribbon,
What do I need to click?
you maximize the screen and then there should be an update button.
Update
Update
TagUI.
TagUI.
Yeah.
We are already using the latest version. And now it can't find a variable. We haven't created a variable iteration, or it can't find it, right?
Oh, that should be part
Yes,
of.
but that should be the special keyword that you can access. If you equals.
I'll double check the RPA exercise website. I think that would be the source of truth because we've tested based on that. Yeah, that seems to be the correct syntax. And I don't think Enders has more than 1 copy of TagUI
Oh no, I installed it just today.
from scratch. Okay.
Because that was the challenge. I wanted to see how easy it was to get started, and so far it was easy. And now, this. I'm sure we can fix this.
Let me see whether I can replicate this problem. I'm trying on an example sample where it works with data tables.
And now the data table is not set. Y set. The data table option is not set. Why?
Maybe because we haven't set it. Maybe after we didn't set our data tables yet. That's why.
Oh yeah, that's why. Okay, sorry.
Why you are a savior? Thank you. Sometimes you just.
You managed to catch it.
Yes.
Like this,
it
right?
only works with data tables. Yeah.
Should we try again?
Yes. It should work now.
Thank you, Y, for helping us here. Otherwise, we could have probably spent a couple of minutes before we realized it.
Yeah. Just how I think you pick it, but somehow maybe we didn't save that. Yeah.
I drag it in here.
Yeah. So to add on the data table option, once you selected, then you have the iteration variable. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. You're running a normal flow. There's nothing called an iteration at all.
And now we're we cannot iterate anything. Now we're iterating the data table file here with the dynamic data. We are typing it in, all the things, with a quite easy syntax, I think. We just had the Word document where we just typed some simple lines of code. Now we have the first post.
I want to add that as you write the code to add the applicants and job posting, there's also a TagUI Chrome extension to help you record all these similar things. But as part of the course, we thought it's good to teach the basics, the manual way how you do it, so there's an appreciation for what happens behind the scene. But there's an extension to simplify this process.
And this is Ken and Ruth here in the background. Ken and Ruth, they are working with TagUI. Actually, they are the two of the leaders there. And they are helping me and you taking this course. If you just came in, you can rewind the course and take it. We're going through it. I will also make my code, like the ones I did here in the Word documents. I'll make them available after the session, so you can inspect what we did here. If you missed some smaller things, it's always nice to look at those. And this looks amazing. It just fills in automatically these things here. That's it, right? We have filled in 3 job postings.
So after these job postings are being filled in, we want to view the applicant list for each job posting.
What do I want to do?
We want to view all the so the assumption here is like after all the jobs are posted, there are applicants who have applied to the jobs. So the HR will have to view each list and check out who have applied to the job. So we want to look through the 3 jobs that are being posted on the website just now, and then we want to click on view applicant list for each job. So what we want to do is we want to create a new subflow, so that's a new document, and then we will call it view applicant list. So we create a new Word document.
And I call it view applicant what?
List.
What do you say? List?
List. Yeah, correct.
Like this.
Yes. So we open up that file, yeah, and what we want to do is in this next portion we will learn how to look through all 3 jobs on the web page.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I guess for next this part here, right? You enter the jobs again, correct?
For this portion, is the jobs have already been entered, so you want to look through all of them for the button view applicant list.
Oh, you mean that you save the state for the jobs is already entered in the web page?
It won't save the state, but you will chain it together with the other stuff.
I see. Then maybe you can try running turbo so that it can speed up the entering rather than looping 3 times.
Okay, sure. Maybe after we finish this file, we can run turbo. Yeah, okay. So next we will work on view applicant list. So we will use the for loop. So if you take a look at your ribbon up there, you have the for loop option under conditions.
With the for loop here?
Yes, so this is the syntax for loop. For n from 1 to a certain number, you do some steps. So the n is actually the iteration of the loop that you are currently in. So in this case, it's 1 to 10. So the first one, n will be equals to 1, and then it will increment so on and so forth, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. So in this case, we know there's only 3 jobs, so it will be for n from 1 to 3. So we can replace the 10 with 3. Yes, correct. So the next thing we want to do is we want to click on the view applicant list button, so we can go back to the web page, the RPA exercise web page, and then we log in.
The best HR 1, 2, 3 login. That's it. And then I want to make a new job posting, right?
Yeah, so basically this is assuming that you have 3 job postings already, but then I will teach everyone a hack to add 3 job postings for now. So you can actually edit by if you right click on the page and then you click inspect, right, and then next you can go to network, I believe. A second. Not network. You can go to memory, I believe. Let me see. Sorry, application. Wrong application. Yes, and then you go to local storage. Yes, the next one. Yes, you can actually add the counts. You can put count equals to 3.
Here?
Yes. And enter. And then you refresh the page.
Whoa, I didn't know this hack.
Okay, so this hack, so that we can proceed faster with string. So basically, yeah, we can view the applicant list this way. So you can do the same thing to inspect the buttons for the view applicant list.
So here?
Yeah, correct.
Should I just inspect them normally, like right click?
Yes, and then you get the XPath for that button. I believe that is the most.
And I want to do a click here, right?
You want to, yeah, so you need to indent it because it's a for loop. So similarly, you can add a tab over there. So after adding a tab, yes, then you can do a click. Okay, I believe. Okay, I think you don't need the span portion of there because you want to click on the button, not the span portion. So you can just remove the span portion. Right? Just leave it at button. Yes, correct. Yes, and then after that, yeah, after you click already, you will have to go back to the list. So if you go to the web page and then you try clicking on the view applicant list button, there's this back to list button at the top.
What do you say?
There's this back to list button at the top. Yeah, so what we want to do for this section will be just to iterate through, click here and then click back to the list, go down to the next one and then click back to the list again. So that is our goal for this section over here.
So I right click again and inspect this button?
Yes, correct.
And here we have an ID, back to list. We just pick that one up.
Yes, okay.
And do we just want to add the click down here?
Yeah, below that. So after this, I will show you how to populate to make this run in the for loop. Okay, so let's go back to the whole list over there by clicking the back to list button. Yeah, and let's inspect the second view applicant list button.
Inspect it?
The second one. The next one, the next job. Yes, correct. And then we get the XPath for this one.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's take a look at how the XPath looks like. Okay, so if we compare both the previous XPath and this XPath, right? It only differs by one of the, that one over there is the one that differs. If you notice, correct?
Yeah, this one it says 1 and then 2, right?
Correct. Yeah, so that is the one that we want to look through. So what we want to do is replace that 1 with n. Okay, so but because we want to access it as a variable, so we have to call it inside backticks. So the only time we don't need to use the backticks when calling it as a variable is if we are calling it inside a condition statement. Yeah. So for this is outside of the condition statement, so we need to use the backticks. Okay, so that looks good.
And Cher just joined the stream. Hey Cher, Cher says thank you for your videos. It's very valuable. Thank you Cher for supporting. Thank you for making these comments here. That it's highly appreciated. Sorry, Ruth.
Yes, so that looks good. So we don't need the sentence that you have highlighted. Yeah. So You can save this file already.
I saved it.
Yes, correct.
And what do we want to do now? Go into the main.
We want to chain this together with the main file, correct?
So the main is here, and so when we have done this, we want to go here, and then we want to invoke this new job posting, and to do so, we need to find a TagUI over here, and then we can call the flow file. And this flow file we call, let me see what we call it.
View applicant list.
Yeah, we call it here.
Yes. And another thing that take note is, okay, the current way that you have it right after new job posting, what do you think is the expected behavior when you run it?
So we make a new job posting once, and then we start iterating through. We should probably have the all 3 job postings typed in, and then we can have the view applicant list, right?
Yeah, that is what we want to have, right? But the current way, if we have new job posting and then we straight away chain it with the view applicant list, it will run the new job posting on the first record and then straight away run the view applicant list already. That's because the entire main flow is being run on each record. So what we want to do is we want to reuse the iteration keyword and only call the view applicant list once the entire job posting has been posted. Yeah, so we can use the iteration equals to 3, so that means it's the last. Yeah.
Like this?
That's correct.
Cool.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So that's how we can use the iteration keyword. So there's a lot of practice to try that out.
Should we run this?
Yes, you can try running it.
I am running it here, and this is Ruth in the background. Ken is here too. Maybe we can mute Ken so we don't. No, he's gone. And here we have it. So we are typing in our data from the CSV file. And what we added here was that when these 3 job postings, those ones are done, we can now inspect them individually with a for loop. So
yeah, so the way to chain things, we can actually make use of the iteration keyword to make sure that everything is run ready, and then we only run it after the last record.
Yeah.
And also like for iteration equals to 1, that's very useful for login flows. So usually you only want to run login the first time of your whole automation, so you use iteration equals to 1. Yeah.
Hey Ken.
I think he's muted.
I didn't mute him, but. And again, now we added the second job posting. And Ruth, after we've done this, how far away are we from the goal, and that is getting the certification? Will you estimate?
Oh, sorry, somehow it got muted. Yeah, I'm back.
Cool, Ken. What I'm asking is that if this goes well, how far away are we from completing the course? I love every part of it, so hopefully there will be a long time before we complete, but if we can get the viewers some kind of estimate.
Right. So there's only one more subflow that we'll be working on. That is to process each applicant. So after we go into the view applicant list for that particular job, we want to process the applicants on that page, and then after we chain it back in, then we are done with the whole flow.
There you go. I think the flow seems to be running still, right?
Yeah, actually we should have tried the turbo mode. No.
What do you say?
We should have tried the turbo mode. So the turbo mode actually runs everything in a much faster speed.
So the turbo mode, but what happened here? Why aren't the flow stopping? What?
Can you show the task pane?
Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. Now
Yeah,
it's
so
stopped.
it finished the whole flow already. Yeah. So after this, we want to process the applicant. So if we go back to the web page in the background,
What do you say?
we can go back to the web page in the background that you have open over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once we click on the view applicant list, yeah, what we want to do is to approve or reject the applicants over here. So there are actually two conditions that we are looking out for when approving or rejecting the applicants. So the first one is whether the applicant's education level matches the education level of the job. So there are two education levels. So one is diploma and one is a degree. So if we look at the job posting, it says diploma, so it has to exactly match like the so the first one.
So this one up here needs to equal this one. If it's just
Correct.
a degree, we can reject those, right?
Yeah, correct. So it has to be an exact match. And then the second condition is that the pre-screening score is more than 70.
What do you say?
The screening score, which is the column beside education level, has to be more than 70, above 70.
Cool. And this is just something that you tell me, right? We cannot read that from the Excel, from the CSV file or anywhere. It's just a criteria that you set up.
Yeah, it's a criteria that is on both the exercise page and the course itself.
Cool, Ruth. So how do we do this? What should we do now?
Yeah, so what we hope the automation will do is to click on the approve or reject button based on this condition. So we can open up a new Word document, and then we can name it process applicant.
Applicants like this, right?
That's right.
And then we open it. There you go. And Manoj, thanks you for all the effort. Thank you, Manoj, for attending, and thank you for letting us know in the chat. It's highly appreciated, and thank you to Ken and Ruth for being here. Share cards have a question. Ken, can you answer the question in the chat, maybe just by typing in? Cool.
Sure.
Then Ruth and I will go through this. So Ruth, what will we be doing here?
All right. So for each job, we first have to read what is the application level what is the education level that is stated on the page. So for the one that we just saw, it was a diploma. So what we want to do is basically to capture that text.
That one up here?
And then do the comparison after we have captured it. So we can actually use the read step. So if you go to the word ribbon, there's a step called read. Basically, it's just read. Yeah, that's correct. So similarly, when you see the element, you can inspect the element over there to get the XPath or any identifier.
I can just use the XPath here. So I get, and then I save it to some sort of a variable.
Yes, and then you have to save it to a variable. So you can name it like job education level or anything that you want to name.
Like this?
Yeah, that's correct.
So now we're reading this, and what should we do now?
Okay, next we want to look through all the applicants on the page.
So what? Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
But we don't know how many applicants are there on each page, right? Because it was not given beforehand. So what we want to do is we actually want to do a count on all the rows that we have over here, so we can inspect the first row that you see over there.
What do you say? So I want to count this one here and this one.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so we want to inspect the row, so we inspect over there. So let's take a look at it.
The entire row. Can I inspect that one?
Okay, maybe you can take the TR tag over there. Yeah, correct. So we want to do a count of how many rows. So the TR is actually referring to the rows. So we find the XPath for this.
For this one here?
Yeah, correct.
And then we take a count.
Yes. So under the helper functions, there should be a count.
Under here?
There should be a count under helper functions.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can fill up that XPath over there. You don't need the bracket one because that's the first one, but you want to count how many rows are there, so you can remove the bracket one.
What do I need to move?
I think you happen to delete you happen to delete the codes. You need the codes.
Oh, I need to. I thought you said like this.
You need to you have to remove the one at the back, the bracket and one, because
This
you want
one?
to count on the number of rows. Yeah, because when you inspected it, it actually gave you the row, the first row, but then we want to make it generic because we want to count how many TRs are there.
So what do I need to remove here, Ruth?
The one and the brackets, and leave it as TR.
And the TR as well?
Correct. No, that's fine.
So now we
so
are
after
count.
that, so this count function will return a number, so we want to save it to a variable. So in order to save it to a variable, we go to the front of that sentence, count, and then we do rows equals to count.
So I said rows.
Yes, correct. You can use the equal sign.
Oh.
Yeah, that works. Okay, and then after we have counted this, it should return the total number of rows or the total number of applicants in that list. So the next thing we want to do is to loop through. So similarly, we can use the for loop in the next sentence. Yeah.
And we found the for loop. Was that?
Yeah, under conditions.
Here. And then we say for n from 1 to, and then we can use the rows.
Yes, that's correct.
Like this, and then we can have some steps.
Yeah, that's correct.
And then we want to get. What do you say?
Yes, so for next up, we want to read the applicant's education level and the pre-screening score. So similarly, we do a read on it.
And we are tapping this one in here, and we want to do a read, and then we want to read the educational level here.
Correct.
So we inspect this one here. And that is this one, right, Ruth?
Yes, correct. So we copy out the XPath.
So we read this XPath and we read it to education.
Variable. Correct.
Yeah.
So you can call it education level.
Education level, like this. And then we read the pre-screening score similarly, right?
Yeah, okay, but before we do that, we need to find which is the div or something that we want to look through. So what we can do is to use the next row and we inspect again for the next one.
Oh yeah, here.
Yeah, and then we take a look at the XPath and we see what is the changing portion.
Of course.
So it should be.
It's this TR here.
Yeah, correct.
And
so
we can.
That's the easiest way to.
What do you say?
Which is the one that's the easiest way to check which is the portion that is changing in the XPath. Then we replace it with the backticks and n.
So we read each one of these, right?
Yeah. So the next one we want to read will be the pre-screening score. So it's very similar.
Ruth, I'm learning so much here. Thank you. I know I said it a couple of times, but I'm really happy that you wanted to spend your time with us. And
this way of comparison is actually the fastest way to find out how to look through things. Yeah.
And then we want to inspect this XPath similarly. So we copy the XPath here. What we're doing here is to inspect both XPaths, and this is the changing part. So we will be changing the n here.
Yes, correct. So you need to save that to a variable as well to do your
like this.
comparison. Yeah.
And what
Okay,
do...
so next up we have to do the comparison already. So we need to check whether the conditions are being met. So we are still in the for loop, so we have to indent with a tag.
I
Then
wanted...
we have to, yes,
What-
we need to use an if condition. So we do a if.
And then we want to ask if this job educational level up here, is that equal to this educational level here? So what I want to do is that I can just do this. Can I just have the equal sign here?
Usually we will spell it out for this case. If you want to use the equal sign, then you have to follow the JavaScript way of doing it, which is to properly with all the brackets and stuff.
Sure. So now we have this, and then I want to see if the score, this score here needs to be higher than, that's another
Greater
if.
than.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we need to click either approve or reject,
Correct.
right?
So because both, yes, correct. So both conditions have to be met, right? So we, in the same sentence, we can do an and at the back.
So I can do an and here,
Yes, to check for both conditions.
and then we want a score,
Yes,
and
then
score.
greater than 70.
Should I write it out?
Yes.
Greater
So
than.
all the syntax can be found on the documentation page.
Sure. We will be sharing all documents, what's needed for this course. I'll be posting in the description. So if you're watching this video afterwards, you can find it in the description below, as well as all this code. If you want to go through Ruth and my code, you can find that in the description as well. I'll make sure that it's there before the end of the day. Sorry, Ruth?
Yeah, okay. So after that, we will have to do the click on the approve and reject button. So similarly, we have to do the inspect.
We are getting quite good in these, I think. So now we have the first XPath, and then we have to go to the next XPath here, right?
Yeah, that's the fastest way you can do it.
Because we need to find a dynamic element to this XPath Ruth taught us. And here we need to see where does these two differs, and that is this TR here. So we are... What do you say?
The row is changing, that's why the TR is changing.
Yeah. So we will replace this one here with a N as root thought us. Right?
Backticks look a bit strange. I think one of them is not correct. The first backtick.
It looks like a single quote.
Oh, yeah. What you're saying is that...
Yeah, the one on the left of the end, it looks like, yeah.
Like this.
Yes, that's correct. So you want to do a click on...
So we have this one here, and should I do like this? Oh. So we are clicking here, right, Ruth? Hello?
Yeah, I think you can remove the span at the back because we want to click on the button just to be safe.
Like here?
Yeah, correct. And then the next one, we will just do else, and then we will inspect the reject button and find the XPath for that and do a click step on it.
So I do a else and then a tap in again, click, and then the reject button.
Yeah. I think you should just button 1 and button 2.
What do you say?
I think you should just differ from the XPath that you see over there by the last number.
We will inspect it.
Yes.
And here...
Ken, does it matter that the N is capitalized?
JavaScript? Oh, this is a good question. Let me not mistaken. Yes.
There are some
Let me check.
exceptions and things that you have done.
And here it differs again with here, so I'll be clicking here. Oh.
Yeah, it matters. Yeah. So JavaScript is case sensitive. So your variable has to be the right case.
And
But there are some stuff that you have added the case sensitive validation, right?
so now I made my if, and we have both clicks in it, right?
Yeah, yes, correct. I think you can remove the span again, and then
Oh, yeah.
remove the, yeah. And
Like
then for
this?
the end and the if statement, you can change it to a lowercase.
So where? No, the and. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, and then this should be it.
So are we
Then
done here?
Yes, we can save this file already, and then we can close it. And then next we want to go to the view applicant list file. So what we want to do is for each, after we click into the applicant list, we want to process the applicant. Yes, so it should come up, yeah, in between the 2 clicks, we should add the subflow over there.
So
in this case,
so now. What do you say?
In this case, you can see like different levels of subflows. So there's one in the main flow, and then from the subflow you call another subflow.
Yeah. So this is like this, and then docx
Yes.
like this. Is there anything more to add?
Nope.
Like this, we can close down this view applicants, right?
Yes, correct.
And then we have the main, and we can try run it now.
Yes, correct.
Ruth, I'm looking for.
Would you like to try with the turbo mode?
What do you say?
Okay,
That's
so
a good idea.
there's this
But he already ran.
I already clicked.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, on the task pane, there's an option to run 10 times faster with the turbo mode.
Oh,
Yeah.
too late.
There's option to run 10 times faster.
So now we are creating a job posting.
Yeah. So at any point, if you want to stop the flow, you can also press the button over there to stop it. So whenever you run it, it will change from a run button to a stop button, and then you can stop it.
There you go. That was the first one. And thanks for all the people attending this session. It's appreciated with all the comments, questions, and maybe just as important, thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Ken.
Yeah. Anders and Ruth, it's like slightly overrunning. Is it okay if I drop first, but Ruth can reach me if it runs into any blockers?
Of course, Ken.
Yeah. I'll see you guys later. Yeah.
See you, Ken. Thank you for being here.
Okay, thanks.
And now we are filling these things out. That was the second one. We will have the third one, and then we will go through the applicants afterwards. How many hours did it take you to develop this course, Ruth? What do you think?
I can't remember. But quite some time.
Yeah.
Including building the website and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and Shiakart says, Ken, thank you so much for the software. I can't wait. So now we are in the applicants. We approve, we reject. It seems like the logic is working, Ruth.
That's great.
There you go. That's the second one, the job ID second one. Yeah, it works.
Looks good.
Are we done with this automation now? Now that we have a quiz, or do we need to build other things?
There are some videos that showcase other concepts of TagUI, but I guess maybe in the essence of time, we can look at it in our free time. So yeah, there will be a quiz at the end of each section that we have to cover.
Cool. We will be taking it live with Ruth here. Congratulations, you are a TagUI champ. Sure, thank you. And now we go.
Okay, so there's another section on error handling and stuff. So basically, we can, in your free time, I guess y'all can go through that section to see how TagUI handles error. What it does in essence is it takes a screenshot of whatever element it can't find on the page, and then it will actually error out with the screenshot saved in the same folder as your flow.
Cool. And now we are going through these ones are the things we built. We will be taking the course, the quiz of section 2. Let's see if we can find out. So Jane wants to automate the process of launching the browser and visiting the Google homepage, Google.com. Which of the following is the correct step for visiting the website? We can just write out the URL. We did that in our automation.
Yeah, that's correct.
What is the correct instruction for clicking a point coordinate? We actually did do that. So maybe Ruth, can you elaborate on that?
Right. So this one can be found in the documentation as well. So you can deduce from here that that is one of the click steps to click on an element. So basically, TagUI can click on elements based on their XPath, and then we can also specify point coordinates. And then for point coordinates, it will be a bracket and the numbers inside.
So like the first one here.
Right.
Yeah. Sam wants to automate clicking on the Windows icon on the taskbar. Which of the following should he do? He should find the XPath of the icon and do a click step, click XPath. He should use keyboard start to open the start menu. He should automate using Windows automation by saving a snapshot image of the Windows icon. I don't believe that, Ruth, as you told me. Then do the click step, click Windows PNG. He can do that. He cannot automate this as TagUI is unable to automate desktop applications. We haven't touched how we automate desktop applications.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so but we can do some deducing over here. So for desktop elements, we cannot find the XPath of it because it's basically not a web page. So that's the first option is actually out already. And then he wants to click on the Windows icon, right? So one usually for desktop automation, visual automation is the way to go. So just as I mentioned, visual automation involves taking screenshots of the element, and then you can save it in the folder, same folder as the flow file, or save it somewhere else and then call the absolute path. Yeah, then you can do something like click windows.png.
So we will be taking the screenshot of it and saving it and then click the PNG.
Yeah, correct.
Cool. Tom wants to automate filling text into a web input element. Which steps can he use? Type, keyboard, keystroke, or fill? And what we did here, we can see we did actually some of it, right?
Yes, I believe we tried out the type step over here.
Yeah.
And then for the video that we skipped for the optimization portion, we actually went through the keyboard step.
So 1 and 2, we can use both of them. Yeah. What are data tables? Data tables are used to run your flow multiple times with different inputs from a dataset. Data tables are tables from a web page that contains a dataset. Data tables are Excel cells in which you can change a value in some of the cells and come up with different answers to the problem. Data tables are Python libraries for manipulating data. Data tables, those ones were the one that we used for the CSV, and we used them for running our flow multiple times with all the different inputs from the records, right?
Right. So which one do you think is the correct answer?
What do you say?
Which one do you think is the correct answer?
I would say that is data table are used to run your flow multiple times with different inputs from the dataset we're using. We are going through each one of the rows in the dataset one by one.
Yeah, that's correct. That's absolutely correct.
Then I take page 2. And which is the correct variable for accessing the first iteration in data tables? So what we did here, we took the iteration, we used that variable to get to the first iteration. Is that right, Ruth?
Yeah, that's correct.
And just stop me if I say something wrong. We shouldn't misguide our viewers who has actually been with us for more than 3 hours. What does the helper function count do? It counts the number of steps written in a flow. It counts the number of elements matching the specific identifier, matching the identifier specified in the brackets. It counts the time taken for a flow to run. It counts the return on investment of the automation. It counts the number of elements matching the identifier specified in the brackets. We actually use that. So rewind the video a bit. What does deploying a flow do? Deploying a flow pushes the flow to the cloud. Deploying a flow creates an executable file. Deploying a flow makes the flow available for all machines on the same network. Deploying a flow runs the flow in headless mode. We actually haven't talked about deployment to either the cloud or...
Correct. So in this case, for TagUI, deploying a flow actually creates an executable file. So what you can do in this file is you can schedule the file to run at a specific time, and on, for example, if you're using Windows, you can use Windows Task Scheduler. So in this way, you don't have to always manually run the flow. You can automate it by scheduling it. Yeah. So it creates an executable file.
Cool. And now John wants to call a flow from a main workflow. What should he write in a main flow to achieve this? We actually did this. He should write TagUI and then the subflow name. So we will choose option 3.
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, you can't see my screen anymore. Sorry.
Yeah, I can't. It's okay.
Sammy wants to scrape some text with the following XPath to a variable called address. Which of the following TagUI steps should he use? So he should be reading the XPath to a variable that will be option number 1, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Okay.
Now we finished the quiz. We still have one quiz more to do. We can skip the steps. So my results are being recorded. We have 100%. Ruth, that was because of you. So we'll quickly continue because now we only missed the last steps. And what I can recommend you users to do from here is to join TagUI, the TagUI Telegram group. Both Ruth and Ken is a part of it. And that is one if you want to learn more and engage with other TagUI developers. Now we're skipping these because we already done these. And to the viewers that is still with us, thanks a lot for being here for the entire hours. It's very impressive. Now we are 85% done. We cheated a bit, but these ones are recommended to take whenever you're going through it. Now we just need a final quiz. Let's have the questions. So we start the quiz. Now it's something with Python. We haven't touched that, but that's fine. Sarah is a proficient Python developer and wonders if she can do RPA in the Python programming language. Which of the following options can she consider? She can use the RPA for Python, which is the Python package for TagUI. She can write her Python code in between the PyBegin and PyFinish blocks using human language TagUI. There's no option to write Python code in TagUI. Well, it's not 3. We know that. So I think she can do both 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's correct.
TagUI can do both desktop and web automations. True. You can only use XPath to identify web elements. No, you can also... we did several of other things here. So which of the following TagUI steps is able to populate data to a CSV file? Dump, load, or write. We haven't written anything to a CSV file. Ruth, can you take us through this?
Yeah, we explained in one of the videos. So basically, both dump and load can populate a CSV file.
So 1 and 2?
Dump and write. Sorry, dump and write.
Yeah. What is the difference between the exist and present helper functions? Exist waits until the timeout, while present does not wait until the timeout before returning true or false depending on whether it existed or not. Present waits until the timeout, while exist does not wait until the timeout before returning true or false depending on whether it exists or not. Exist waits for a timeout of 10 seconds, whereas present waits for a timeout of 5 seconds. There's no difference between exist and present. So these things, they look for elements on the page and then they return a true or false, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And what is the difference here?
The answer is A. So exist waits for the timeout, whereas present doesn't wait for the timeout. Yeah, so you immediately return without waiting for the timeout. You can actually specify the timeout in your flow as well. Like you can customize it to how long you want it to wait and then error out.
TagUI will automatically throw an error when it detects when it detects an expected UI element is missing. Yeah, we saw that it will throw an error, right? This is a sample data table. Which of the following is the correct way to access the current iterations data? Here, we can either by accessing a variable which is made up of the dataset's column header, ID, country, or city, by calling the associated Excel cell IA2 or B3, by calling the associated Excel column IAB. We actually did it. We called the column header with the variable on, right? There are two types of object repositories, local and global. We haven't touched that. Ken told us about object repositories. So where are we
it's
with the...
True. Yeah, so it's true. I think this can be found on the documentation page. Yeah.
This is an example of an element on a web page. Which of the following steps can be used to click on this element here? So we have the element here and we want to click it. And what we did when we want to click, we looked for this ID. So we know that this one actually work. And so can we click by, and we have this ID as well, this one, so the ID that will work. Can we also click on classes, Ruth? And what is the last one? That is the Google search, the area label. So will each of them work, or does it need to be an ID like we did in the exercise?
Some things don't work. So for example, the type doesn't work. So the type submit doesn't work. So the rest of them actually work.
So what doesn't work? No, the type doesn't work.
Type doesn't work, yeah. So you can use ID, you can use name, you can use area label, and as well as class, yeah.
So that's 1, 2, and 3, right?
Yeah, correct.
Helen is a customer service officer who responds to customer queries over the phone. The queries she receives on a daily basis are always different and require different solutions to tackle. Is this case suitable for RPA? I would say no, because then we have to make a whole lot of rules, maybe like 100 rules, and it will take more time than Helen just to do the jobs herself.
Yeah, so, that's absolutely correct.
So no. Now we've finished the quiz. We are all very, very soon.
Yeah, I think it should be sent to your email that you use to register for this account on AI Singapore's Learn AI page.
Sure. We just so now we have it. We can join the tag community. I will recommend you doing this. And so now we're done. We are getting the certificate sent to my email. Maybe it's already there. I'm not sure. I will take a look. I think it's there. Here's your digital badge. Let me download all the pictures. View my badge. I will add it to my LinkedIn profile later. There you go. I have it. That's Anders Jensen, and there's my TagUI beginners badge. Ruth, thanks a lot for being with us. It has been an absolutely pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me here.
And I will, if you viewers are watching this delayed, you can just post the questions below here in the comments. I'll make sure to make Ruth or Ken aware of them. They'll try to answer as best as possible, or I can send it to them. And if you have some feedback for Ruth, what do you think about this course? Please post it in the chat and the comments, and that will be valuable feedback for Ruth as a course creator. So thanks to everyone. Thanks for you taking the course with me. It's been a lot of hours now. And yeah, see you soon, Ruth.